Hi guys, welcome to this topper talk. We have Chandar Prabha Sharma with us. Chandar Prabha has got All India rank 289 in her sixth attempt. This was her final attempt. And I'll just go through her journey of UPSC quickly. So she started with her attempts in 2016. She came back from USA after her post-graduation, and with just 1 month of practice, she gave the first attempt in 2016. So that was not in her favor. She could not clear prelims. Then 2017 was her second attempt, wherein she cleared prelims, but mains unfortunately could not be cleared. In 2017, she founded her NGO and started working towards with the NGO. And in 2018 and 19, she gave her attempts, but along with working in the NGO. So 2018 and 19 attempts were given, but again, prelims could not be qualified. Her NGO was selected as a nodal NGO for COVID management, and that was in 2020 and 2021. So these 2 years, she did not attempt the exam. In 2022, she gave her full-fledged preparation, like without getting into the NGO work. That was her full-fledged preparation. Again, prelims could not be cleared. And her final attempt was in 2023. We met in about November, December of 2022. And slowly, she started with one current affairs. I think current affairs course se shuru kiya tha, chota sa ek course tha. Slowly, she liked the courses and she enrolled into all of my different courses, which I had for prelims 2023. They included mapping, current affairs ka tha, elimination ka tha, PYQs was one course, reading comprehension, and I think one oral test wala course, if I'm not missing any. I think these were the courses. So with that, that was our final attempt, 2023. We went through a lot of issues together, in the sense, not just academic preparation, but also on the front of mental health, motivation, all of those, which every one of us goes through in this preparation, including me, including all of us go through that in our own different ways. So it was academic, it were other challenges also that we faced, but ultimately everything paid off. She could get this good rank of 289 in her sixth and final attempt. So Prabha, welcome for this talk. If I hope I've said everything, the chronology of your attempts correctly. Is it?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Right. Okay. So this talk, because we have people who have joined my courses as well as people who have not joined any of my courses. So this is like a mixed, all kinds of audiences there. So we have decided that this talk will be first about the things which are universal, and then we will focus on the paid courses, so that people who have not joined my courses, if they wish to leave, they may. If they wish to stay back, so they will have the option of, not getting, getting the time wasted, so to say. They can leave if they wish, they can stay back if they wish. So the first will be PYQs. We'll talk about PYQs. We'll talk about mock tests, coaching mock tests. Then we'll go to NCRTs. We'll talk about current affairs. Then we'll come to elimination techniques, CSAT preparation, what to do in the last 2 months, and mental health, right? So Prabha, let us start with the PYQs aspect of the preparation. Anyone who wishes to ask any question, please raise your hand. I will come to you. Then you open your mic and you ask your question. Let me begin with this first question, Prabha, of PYQs. How significant, like abhi is saal to there's a lot of talk about PYQs getting important. Almost everyone, YouTube is flooded with the significance, importance of PYQs. But in your case, like personally, how did PYQs change the outcomes of prelims for you?
Yeah, so firstly, thank you. And it's great to see a lot of friends here. I've studied with all of you, I've learned with you. So thank you for having me here. So with regards to PYQs, I'll be very honest. Everyone knows the importance, but I'm a classic case of not taking it as seriously as it should have been across my attempts. I knew it was important, but I didn't give it seriousness. And even if I did, I actually didn't have the skill to truly analyze them. And I think that's what changed in 2023. Partially in 2022 as well, I was building that skill. But 2023, I got the confidence that yes, I actually now understand what UPSC is really trying to test through those PYQs. And credit to you for that. I didn't take them seriously, and you were very insistent and you kept urging us that PYQs are indispensable. Do not do coaching mock tests at the cost of PYQs. So we made sure that we do that. I did them. Now, for anyone who might be wondering on what does it really mean to give importance to PYQs, how do you really do it? This is something that Rakesh sir taught me. You would do it in 2-3 rounds. What I did it is I approached it with two components. The first one was topic wise. So, and this was around December. Now, anything I say, guys, it's important that as a community, let's not create any FOMO. We'll try to ensure that. And if at any point you feel like you're missing out because of anything I said, we will talk about that. And I will assure you that you are still in a great position and have all the odds to clear the exam. Yes. So just give me a promise that at any point, if you feel like, oh gosh, I've not done something she's saying, raise your hand and let me know. We will address that. So we'll address that. He's been a great help for me as well when I had my doubts. Having said that, topic-wise PYQs, so let's just say river mapping, for example, and I want to know what has UPSC tried to ask in river mapping. I would see the PYQs for that topic, and I would see them before I would start even studying the subject. This is something that sir told us to do because you will never know what to truly read. The syllabus, the content and knowledge out there is endless, right? How do you get those sort of that compass on what you have to read is through the PYQs. So we would study the PYQs before we would study the topic. Then we would study the topic and then we would solve the PYQs again. So it was like a 3-stage approach. What saved my time, in fact, was that before sir, I used to use a book and also search for topic-wise PYQs online. But the PYQ tool is great. It's very helpful, and I mean, it really reflects sir's analyses across the years. And not just that, it's painstakingly, these PYQs have been tagged for you topic-wise, and not just topic-wise, even sub-topic-wise. So that was saved a lot of my time and anxiety.
I'll just intervene. The PYQs tool she's talking about is not any book or online material, right, Prabha? This is the yes, the Telegram channels which have been created, which I have created for this purpose. So she's referring to that tool. Yes, Prabha, please continue.
Yes. So basically, I would do that. So before the topic, study your PYQs, revise your topic, study your topic, and then solve the PYQs. That was one. And then 1 month. So you will do this. You can write this down, make it a goal. We are at 20th. I'm assuming all of us are giving 2024 attempt. Is that right? So it's 20th of April today. 1 month before your exam, 16th June, right?
Yes.
So 1 month before your exam, and sir will advise you better on this, start your year-wise PYQs. Now the question here, when sir used to say this to me, I used to be like, nahi, I need to study. I've already done the PYQ topic-wise. How will it help if I solve the previous year questions again? I already know the answers. That was a classic doubt that got solved immediately when I started doing the year-wise PYQs. So he said, just trust me. And I blindly followed that. I printed the PYQs out. I have the folder actually organized, so I'll send it to you to save your time. All of you just take out a printout of 2011 to 2023 PYQ papers, CSAT and GS1. Decide on a time. Sit down from 9:30 to 11:30 and 2:30 to 4:30. Your GS1 and GS2, you will solve it in exam conditions. And then go back to it, you will analyze. Now, what happens is, to answer the earlier question on why do we do it, even though we've already solved the topic-wise PYQs, it's because you build your strategy, your actual exam taking strategy by solving the entire paper at one go. right? So you test out how accurate you are. You test out how are you processing things under pressure. This won't happen in the topic-wise component that you do. So this is something that I'm hoping all of you target to do. With regards to PYQs, that is what I have. Just let me look at what other notes I had for you guys for PYQs. 1 month that is done. Other exams, sir, also urged us to do other exam PYQs, and I did that. So that really helped me. One last note on PYQs, it's basically, so do you remember the Desert National Park question, the district covered in
It's
that?
spread across 2 districts, huh?
Yes.
That's it.
So just as an example of why it helps, I remember solving that question and then going back to mugging up all of the districts of the different national parks just because it was asked in the PYQ.
I'll just share that question also in the chat.
Let's do it actually. I think should we do it, right?
I'll share it. Just a second.
मैं भी खोल लेती हूँ एक बार. So Desert National Park. I hope I try to recall the lesson I learned from that properly.
Right. I'll just share that in the channel. I'm giving it from the ET research channel. Yes. They should be able to see now.
Okay, so the Desert National Park question, one of the statements said that it is spread over 2 districts. So the urge among candidates is to just go and start studying, which is something I did to really mug up the districts. But if you see the options, you can actually process it through. I understand that in 2023, a lot changed and you will not have the crutch of options with you. But we will work on that as well. And I'm sure Sir has been training you for the new format as well. But that's just a lesson on knowing that largely UPSC is not trying to test you on facts as much as it is trying to test whether you under pressure can use 2 skills properly or not. One is decision-making skill on whether you even want to attempt the question or no. And the second is under pressure, if you're able to solve your way out of this mystery of a question using logic. That in itself will give you a lot of assurance that you don't need to run behind more material anymore. Focus on your static, focus on the standard, and revise that, right? Because what happens is, it's not the exotic questions that bring us out of the game. It's our inability to answer the standard questions that keep us out of the game. Because everyone else will answer those. So that's the main thing with PYQs. I think that is there. What we can do is, so should we take theme-wise questions? So it's more...
Theme-wise, which theme do you want?
Like अभी PYQs पे questions ले लें अगर किसी को है.
हाँ. अच्छा, you're asking for student queries.
If anyone has.
Yes. Shanmugam, please open your mic and ask.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Am I
please
audible?
ask. Yes, you are.
So, ma'am, NCERTs, what are the books we should cover? And also, should we make notes out of our PYQs?
Okay, I will, let's discuss NCERTs when we get to that. We've kept that section as well for you. Very good question on PYQs, whether you should make notes or not. I can show you the notes that I used to make. Let me see if I can pull them up. 1 second. Because they were quite extensive. Just let me see if I have them anywhere. So, Shanmugam, I'm pronouncing your name right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are at 20th April right now. I would not recommend making diligent notes about the PYQ as such, but really reflect on the traps that were there and and how you got stuck in that trap. Write that down. Write things like, I missed a keyword, like a 2023 question where they said chief purpose of the Constitution. If you missed out on the chief purpose keyword, write that down. So it's almost like a journal. I would say don't make notes, call it your reflection, self-reflection journal. Because what will happen is during the paper, you'll remember that, oh, I made this mistake and I'm not going to fall for the trap again. So I wouldn't say make notes out of things you already know, but things you got stuck in, make that note. And keep that for last minute revision.
Yeah. Any other doubt on PYQs, guys? Any other question? Shanmugam, kindly, yes. We have somebody by the name of Humanist.
Humanist.
Yeah, please open your mic, tell your name and ask your question. Yes, humanist, kindly open your mic and ask your question. Please tell your name first.
So while humanist actually gets ready, sir, with your permission, I actually noticed that Mustafa sir is here. Okay, if I can just introduce Mustafa sir as well, sir. It's actually very nice that I have both of you on one platform. So, in the UPSC ecosystem, candidates get mentored by multiple people, and all of them deserve due credit because they play such a big role. Mustafa Ali Shah sir actually trained me in 2022. It was completely on me that I failed. Completely on me, but and so that was on me, but just acknowledging his efforts because he invested a lot of time and emotion there as well.
Certainly.
And then I got Rakesh sir's guidance.
Sir, you did a great job. Prabha को prepare ही आपने किया है, I would say.
Both of you
Thank you
played
so
it.
much, sir. Thank you. Very nice meeting you both.
Same here.
And
Same
thank you,
here,
sir. It was her efforts. I merely guided her in the direction I wanted.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Sure.
Rakesh sir. So, does humanist have a question? Or we can
I think the hand is
You move.
lowered now,
Okay.
and I think connection पे issue होगा शायद.
जी,
Yes,
sir.
है तो सही. Anyways,
So,
any other
oh,
question?
I actually wanted to mention another thing here that yes, let's get to the problem of 2023 format. Another doubt that you may have is the format has changed. What do we do? So I'm sure you would not, by now, sir also would have told you, and you would know that options छुपा के करेंगे हम process, है ना? इसमें भी एक काम किया जा सकता है, and this is something I learned from sir's oral test class. He would do this every single day for us. When I started studying, and when you revise now, study using questions. Ask yourself single statement questions instead of mugging up. So this is basically the difference between active recall and passive recall. So if you're reading a paragraph, let's say on biodiversity or from your notes, hide it. Try to think of the topic that they're talking about, hide it and just try to recall. Ask yourself these questions. That's the greatest way you can actually approach the change in the format. So sir's oral test classes really helped with that because, and we didn't know that the format will change. Sir used to just ask us a question and give us statements. So he would, and we would ask, Samakshi is here, Tamil is here. We would actually ask sir, option de do. But sir used to be like, I'm not giving you option, try it. And then 2023, when we saw the paper, I remember coming out and feeling like, wow, it was an exercise that my brain muscle was ready to do without the help of the options. So, and for anyone who's not already done it, no worries. Do not get FOMO about this. You still have under 60 days. Just train yourself during revision to do active recall. Ask yourself the questions. That's it. So that's one last thing I have to say about PYQs.
Do you
Mukesh?
remember the extensive bee discussion we had, that honeybee discussion we were
Yeah. Yes. I remember.
We were all banging our heads, honeybee kar rahe the hum.
Yes. We've discussed
Bilkul.
honeybee from that perspective, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pollination
Yeah.
वाला question, right?
Wahi
Mukesh.
sir, wahi.
वही वाला. Mukesh.
Yeah, hi sir.
Hi. Please ask your doubt.
Hi. Sorry, I have some constraint. I cannot open my camera.
No issues.
First of all, congratulations, Parva. It is very nice to hear about you, and really makes us proud feel. And I just want to ask you one question about. I know, as this 2023, it was a kind of a shock. So just wanted to know, how did you take care? Like everybody was, I think, new with the the circumstances which the UPSC had played in this time. So just wanted to know, how did you manage to get those questions which I think we didn't think about it. Such kind of question, the options can be framed by the UPSC.
Yeah. Mukesh, it's a very, very important question. I had actually reserved this for our mental health section, but I'll do it now because I know that this might be a top question on everyone's minds. It's a question that gives us a lot of anxiety, so it's important to address. There was no magic bullet. or no magical training that I had done extraordinarily. The first and foremost thing that helped me here was that I was trained in self-belief. Rakesh sir, not just for knowledge and not just for strategy, he has spent countless hours training us, not just me, Samakshi, I know, and Tamil would also agree, in just building faith. So what happens is when you see that question paper, that sudden shock that comes, and you're turning the paper and you're seeing that most of them are that format. I just had to tell myself that, again, it's going to be difficult for everybody. I just have to make sure that I make that cutoff. That's it. I don't have to score the highest. I just have to really calm down because the thing is and you can write this down. If you panic, you are not going to be able to process the processable statements UPSC gives you. And trust me, and this is something sir has repeated multiple times, UPSC is your friend. It wants you to identify where it is helping you. So
Exactly.
the statements, there are really these
Agreed.
support systems that are there, and you'll be able to see them if you're just calm. We still have under 60 days. If anyone is feeling anxious, and I've actually created my channel, a lot of toppers will create these channels. All of us are trying to build a community that will focus on mental health under 60 days. And we can talk about this in detail. Let's sort that out, because I guarantee you it'll give you 10x returns in your performance. If during that time when you get that shock, and let's expect a shock, 2024 could be more shocking than 2023. We will
Exactly, it
expect
can.
it so that we absorb it well, right? We'll talk more about this, but mainly stay calm. And then tell yourself that UPSC is a friend. It has left clues for you that you will process. That's it, because you will stay
Yeah.
calm.
Exactly.
Thank
नहीं,
you. Thank you, Prabha.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The most important thing, यही चीज I try to hammer into all students' heads कि एक दरवाजा बंद होगा तो दूसरा खुलेगा. In 2023 also, if it closed the multi-statement questions door, although उसमें भी कई सारी चीजें थी, अगर cool mind से कर सकते थे, कई सारी चीजें थी, but it really opened a very wide door in two statement questions. पहले two statements को हम toughest बोलते थे, trickiest बोलते थे. It removed those options वाला 1 only, 2 only, both and none, neither 1 nor 2. वो हटा के जो नए वाले options with just one statement, you are getting answers in those questions. I think almost 15-20 questions would be there in two statement 2023 वाले में जिसमें questions आ रहे थे. तो 20 questions multi के नहीं हुए तो कोई बात नहीं, 2 के हो जाएंगे. It was all about just मेंटेनिंग योर कंपोजर कि आसान क्वेश्चंस तो होने ही हैं पेपर में, अगर मुश्किल है तो आसान भी होने हैं. जस्ट दैट, you will be through. So tension, the biggest enemy is if you just start thinking कि ये क्या हुआ, मेरा attempt खराब हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा, and all of that is snowballing into bad performance. Any other doubt, anyone, before we move to the next part? No? Right.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
I would just I had a question regarding prelims. Like, how do you approach the number of questions to attempt? Like, I've seen people over attempting and getting negative marks and all. So, like, we always hear that around 85, 90, 95 questions people should attempt because the cutoff will go up. So, how to assess that in the exam hall?
Prabha.
Yeah, I think we can address this right now, Dr. Abhigyan, because it was PYQs that actually helped me build a strategy. Allow me to exactly open up the data set I have for this, and I'll share my screen. So we just need to enable the sharing.
Okay, just a second. Is it
Okay,
working?
okay, got it. Is everyone able to see this?
Yes.
Don't get overwhelmed by the Excel sheet, everybody. You can even do this on pen and paper. If you want, I can share the template. I'll share it with sir, and this can be shared. I'll put it on my channel as well. These are my mocks. Just let me see if I have them right. Yes, these are my mocks. And if you see here, so I used to solve the paper in 3 rounds. And what I would do is when I would do my mocks, and this is where we talk about you solving your PYQs, even sectionals. So I used to solve sectionals, which sir would tell me, and then I would solve year-wise PYQs. Now for every round, I maintain this thing of first round is my highest confidence round, for example. So I would write down the accuracy. So if you see the accuracy movement here, is everyone able to see this column? This one? Yeah?
Yes, Prabha. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you. So you will see how the numbers move 80, 89, 87, 79, 89, 96, 95, 89. So good accuracy, right? 86, 95. Now these are questions that you will know 100% and you will mark in your first round. Second is where you will know 50%. 1 second, let's see how to get this here. Okay, round 2 accuracy. Now see how this has reduced. 57, 65, 48, 70, 57. You will get this data. Okay. Then you will get round 3 accuracy. This is even lesser. Now, using this, when you solve your PYQs, year-wise PYQs, you will have this, and you will have it with confidence to answer Dr. Abhigan's question. I knew that my accuracy is 80%. If you can read this, I've told myself, now this is me talking to myself, and I've said your accuracy average across the 3 rounds is not less than 80%. So here, and this is, I remember these were words of Rakesh sir. He said, whether you do 75 or 85, you will clear the cutoff because we've done our calculation here. So imagine, Dr. Abhigan, that imagine in one case scenario, I chose to do 85 questions, and then the other I did 75. If I just take 80% calculation, I'm clearing the cutoff. You can see this. I'm clearing the cutoff here, and I'm clearing it here as well. So I got a sweet spot of 75 to 80. And I just had to follow my round 1, round 3, round 2, round 3 discipline vigorously. I couldn't corrupt it. So, and this will come with practice, right? You will ensure that आप कोई भी round 1 question round 2 में नहीं रख रहे हो because of self doubt. या फिर आप कोई ज्यादा ही risk लेके round 3 question you're not doing it in round 2 or round 1. That will come with discipline. That will come with PYQ. So to answer Dr. Abhiyan's question, you will get this information if you do your PYQs year-wise or even sectionals. Build this data and get the sweet spot. For a lot of you, you may even get this accuracy at 65 or 70 range. That's okay. But that sweet spot is yours and it is your unique strategy and style. But you have to find it. That's the thing.
Exactly.
You can't take this template of anyone else.
Absolutely. We have a real example. Dhanraj hai. Dhanraj 60 questions ही सिर्फ करके आएगा. 62 questions करके आता है and he gets like 50 correct out of those. Okay. तो
Yes.
उसका वो तरीका है. So the point is there is no fixed number that is universally true for everyone. You will have to experiment, but experiment with the clarity that the paper must always be attempted from easy to hard. Always start with the easy questions, and you may do the easy questions subject wise, you may do them in a mixed way also. That depends on your style of approaching, but what is mandatory is to always do the easy questions first. There are about 20 to 30 to 35 questions depending on your preparation that you may feel easy, you may feel very comfortable. That is 100% accuracy questions that we say. तो जरूर होते हैं वो. पहला 10-15 मिनट में काम यही होता है, irrespective of what रायता यूपीएससी has allowed in the paper, easy question छांटने हैं और वो attempt करने हैं. It will increase your confidence. यूपीएससी का पर्पस है आपका कॉन्फिडेंस ब्रेक करना. शुरू के 15-20 मिनट में आपका पर्पस होना चाहिए अपना कॉन्फिडेंस इंक्रीज करना है, और एकमात्र तरीका उसका करने का इजी क्वेश्चंस छांटो, इजी क्वेश्चंस देखो. कोई भी मुश्किल क्वेश्चन लगे, डोंट इवन रीड द क्वेश्चन बिकॉज इट विल स्टिक इन योर माइंड एंड इट विल स्टार्ट क्रिएटिंग टेंशन. डोंट इवन रीड एनीथिंग डिफिकल्ट, जस्ट लुक फॉर द इजी क्वेश्चंस. और उसके लिए ईयर वाइज पीवाईक्यू प्रिंट करके हाथ से ओएमआर में जैसे भरने का एग्जैक्ट एग्जाम कंडीशंस में करोगे. दैट इज व्हाट आई हैव been trying my best to push my the ET students, oral test students, everybody, whatever जो dedicated हैं उनको करने के लिए. The same thing I would tell anyone कि यही तरीका best तरीका है, and with practice only the clarity will come. Yes, humanist, please open your mic, tell your name and ask your question.
Hello, sir. My
Hi.
name is Drishti. Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to ask, while analyzing the PYQs, what should be the depth of analyzing it? I mean, if any lake was asked, so what are the things that we must know about that particular lake?
Great question, Drishti. And this is something I've pestered Sir about a lot. A lot of us have a tendency of just going from tab to tab just because a question is asked. We forget that after a point, it's too much and it's not cost effective for your time. So I think Sir taught me this, and I hope I can recall it properly. It's been a year. We would do it in 3 rounds roughly. The first one would be to ensure that we are aware of the standard fact or the standard concept that they've asked. That is indispensable. You have to know it, right? So usko अच्छे से you have to understand and apply it. Secondly, what happens is you can think of interlinkages. Like I used to run my brain in terms of what is then current and if there is an interlinkage there. But that will come to you thoda sa after you read current. It's a little advanced stage. So I'm sure that wasn't the second step you used to do. So can you help us with that?
The analysis वाला वही है, देखो जितना उसको simple रखोगे, मैं तो सबको यही बोलता हूँ, first should always be कि easy questions attempt करने हैं. To help the students with this, I've now started to tag in the ET research channel. ET students can see the tags actually. मैंने स्टैंडर्ड फैक्ट्स में इजी स्टैंडर्ड फैक्ट, मीडियम स्टैंडर्ड फैक्ट, हार्ड स्टैंडर्ड फैक्ट, तो इजी वाले 20-30 क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो करने ही करने हैं. You can just click the tag and you can see, okay, these are the questions which you have to do. Have you done those questions? क्या उसमें से accuracy तुम्हारी कितनी थी? Some questions might be tagged as medium or even hard, but depending on your preparation, you might feel that some questions carrying medium or hard tag may be actually doable for you, maybe falling in other category tags. But that's okay. The broad thing is, first step is to identify the easier questions. अब जो PYQ sources, generally books etc., they don't tell you which questions are easy, which questions are difficult. That is a limitation with them. But at your level, just go through all the questions, and when you just give the mock in terms of first whatever question you read in the first 5 seconds, if you can tell, okay, this is a question which I can understand, or in the first 5 seconds itself, you'll tell, okay, this is a question which requires a fair bit of effort from my side, or even memory or recollection. अगर हो रहा है तो ठीक है, तब कंटिन्यू आगे करो. नहीं हो रहा है तो just move on to the next question, just leave the question there itself. ऐसे करोगे तो आपको easy questions ढूंढना आसान हो जाएगा. Another way is to look at it subject wise. Like प्रभा का पॉलिटी सबसे strong subject होता था, किसी का modern history हो सकता है, शिवांगी का modern history है जैसे for example, or whatever, like different people have different strong subjects. You may want to get into the start with the strongest subject. That could be another way. Strongest subject में भी easy, medium, hard questions हो सकते हैं. You look for the easiest question. जैसे ही मिले, hit it, उसको circle करो, OMR में circle करो, move ahead. That way is in the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you will be able to do these 20 to 30 to 35 odd questions. When you see those circles filled in your OMR, then it gives you tremendous confidence. About what 50 to 60 marks are already there in your favor. Cutoff is around what 90, 80 to 90. तो और तुमको 20-25 क्वेश्चन और करने हैं. That's all. Remaining are 70 questions. Out of 70 questions, you just have to do those 25 odd questions, and then you can be a little tight in terms of any. If you feel a question is difficult, just leave the question, because 70 questions are there and you just have to do 25 questions from there, if we are assuming 100% accuracy. But वो धीरे धीरे of course कुछ गलत भी होंगे, कुछ सही भी होंगे. So overall, you may end up doing like out of 70 questions, maybe 40 questions, maybe 45, 50 questions, whatever, depending on your choice and situation in the exam. But the chances of negative marking is minimized in this. And whatever questions you are doing, you are fairly confident कि इसमें सही होने का गुंजाइश सबसे ज्यादा है. Do not be indiscriminate in your attempts. Do not mark any answer without having a solid reason to mark it. And solid reason should mean either clear and confident knowledge, recollection of fact that has been asked, or a logic, infallible logic about something. It should not be a bias of our mind. It should be a clear logical conclusion about whatever has been asked. So when you do this after giving the paper, then you can see, okay, whether a question was really easy or not. One very direct way of doing it is my channel, but it's not like, it should not sound like I want to sell my channel. So that's why I'm saying it. At your end also, you can do it. If you read a question, just see how much effort it took to mark the question. If it is taking a fair bit of effort, it should not be done in the first 15-20 minutes when you want to do only those 20 to 30 easiest 100% accuracy questions. So it's about the amount of effort a question is taking to get solved, the least effort questions have to be done first, and only repetitive practice will help you with it. The biggest challenge is coaching ka mocks, coaching mocks. Unless you have done PYQs, UPSC ka questions, if you are getting into coaching mocks, their philosophy is different, their idea of making questions is different. Knowledge heavy questions banate hain, and the knowledge also that is asked is very exotic kind, and the answers are based on whether you can recollect that exact point asked in the question or not. I'm not saying all the questions are like that. Some questions are really good also, but mostly the questions are towards this aspect, and that is why very recently I'm telling you, one of my students, he's from IIT Delhi. Okay, 10 साल का experience है इसमें ऑयल इंडिया में, ऑयल इंडिया लिमिटेड में, IIT Delhi का है. And the other day he was speaking with me, he was with me for the last 2 years, अभी भी टच में है, एलिमिनेशन का भी स्टूडेंट था, अदर कोर्सेज आल्सो. He was telling me कि अभी मैंने दोबारा से प्रिपरेशन रिवीजन स्टार्ट किया एंड कोचिंग का मॉक लगाने लगा, तो मेरा तो कॉन्फिडेंस डिप होने लगा, इसीलिए मैंने सोचा आपसे बात करता हूँ. मैंने पूछा कि क्या करे फिर कोचिंग का मॉक ही इज एक्चुअली डूइंग. तो वो कहता है मेरे को PYQs तो पहले ही पता था, इंपॉर्टेंट है, मैंने किया, बट कोचिंग का मॉक जैसे लगाने लगा मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस डाउन होने लगा. तो फिर मैंने उसको बोला कि यार वही बात है ना, कोचिंग का मॉक इज लाइक अ लग्जरी, इट्स एन ऑप्शनल थिंग. Only when you get command and confidence and understanding of PYQs, तभी जब कोचिंग का क्वेश्चन देखोगे, you will be able to tell, okay, is this a good question or is it a bad question? If it is a good question, you will derive great value out of it, but because a lot of effort has been put in making those questions, you will derive great value. But if you don't know which is a good question and which is a bad question, it is going to harm you. It is going to harm your confidence, your peace, your, everything is going to go for a toss. So PYQs first. Topic wise, जैसे प्रभा ने बोला, topic wise first and then start with mocks. Now you should be starting with mocks of PYQs. 2011 से print कर ले लो and do them then analysis at your end, how much effort a question is taking, and then try to segregate those questions. Generally, at least 20 questions are there in every paper which are 100% doable with 100% accuracy. Maybe going till 30 questions, 35, 40 questions based on your knowledge. But generally, it's not beyond 40. 40 is like the highest, like, the most senior players, कई साल हो गए देते हुए, knowledge भी है, वो सब, everything they have seen. वो लोग generally 40 तक पहुंच पाते हैं. Otherwise, for a beginner, it's normally revolving around 25 to 30. A good prepared student, basically, 1 year preparation के साथ मैं बोल रहा हूँ. Just slot them. So maybe 20 to 30 odd questions you will want to put in this slot one. The other slot would be the medium level questions. And the last slot would be the hard questions. The hard questions could be maybe 5% of the question, 10% of the questions. These are the questions which will have the lowest accuracy and the greatest amount of time they will take to actually not get solved and get wrong actually. So you don't have to do those questions. Those are the questions which you want to leave in exam. So at the end of your mock, you should have better clarity about what are the questions which you will absolutely mandatorily do, the 100% accuracy question, and what are the kind of questions which you will absolutely leave. ये क्लैरिटी हो गया तो बीच के जो मीडियम लेवल के जो क्वेश्चंस होते हैं वो डिपेंड करता है, बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होते हैं, फिर हाउ वेल यू आर थिंकिंग, हाउ कूल यू आर, किस्मत कैसी है, बहुत सारी चीजें होती है. तो वो बीच वाले क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा चलता रहता है, उसमें रेशो ग्रे जोन होता है. बट ये एक्सट्रीम्स जो हैं, अबाउट 5 to 10% क्वेश्चन जो बिल्कुल ही टफ होते हैं, जो नहीं टच करने हैं, उसका क्लैरिटी चाहिए. और ये 20-30 क्वेश्चन जो करने ही करने हैं. This is the part of self-awareness that you need, so that जब ये सारे questions, and keep collecting these questions when you give every year. You start with 2011, 2012, 13, 14. हर जगह ये इकट्ठे करते रहो. Across the years, you will have all the 30 easy questions from 2011 till 2023. You will have all the difficult questions from 2011 till 2023. उनको बार बार देखोगे तो पता चलेगा क्वेश्चन में क्या स्ट्रक्चर होगा तो मेरे लिए इजी होता है, किस टाइप का मल्टी स्टेटमेंट होता है, 2 स्टेटमेंट होता है, 1 स्टेटमेंट होता है, मैं साइंस में अच्छा हूँ, मैं पॉलिटी में अच्छी हूँ, मैं हिस्ट्री में अच्छी हूँ, क्या पूछता है, किस लेवल की डेप्थ पूछता है तो मेरे लिए इजी होता है, एंड किस टाइप का स्ट्रक्चर, डेप्थ एंड काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन, स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ क्वेश्चन जो मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता है. ये सेल्फ अवेयरनेस आएगी तो इट इज गोइंग टू डायरेक्टली improve your chances in attempting prelims. ये तुमको टेंशन नहीं होने देगा एंड क्वेश्चन सिलेक्शन में बहुत हेल्प करेगा. That's what I would like to add. Is the doubt clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, I
Yes.
have one more doubt. Sir, I am already your subscriber to the PYQs channel and I'm
Acha.
solving PYQs also. But my question is, sir, what if I don't solve any coaching mocks and just focus on the static and current affair and the PYQs? Will it cost my attempt?
See, it's very hard to say it will cost your attempt or not, but certainly it is going to cost your confidence because you will not know, like, ये है मेरे 80 के स्टूडेंट्स हैं यहाँ पे, देवांशी है या बाकी लोग हैं, when यानिकेत है, when you are looking at a question without time pressure, तुम उसको accurately कर सकती हो, आसानी से, fairly आसानी से कर सकते हो. You will be in a, you know, much more confidence. You'll have much more confidence and your mind will be cooler. But उसको जब time pressure में करोगे, same questions जो ये लोग, जब हम डेली रात को डिस्कस करते थे, दिन में 50 क्वेश्चन करने हैं, बस आ जाओ आराम से, उसमें एक्यूरेटली कर रहे हैं, बट जब पेपर में एक्चुअली कर रहे हैं तो वही क्वेश्चंस गलत भी हो रहे हैं, उनमें से कुछ क्वेश्चन जो अदरवाइज सही हो रहे थे. So it's very important that you print the paper, and because you're already aware of the question, don't give yourself 2 hours to do that. Maybe 1.5 hours. इन लोगों को मैं 1.5 घंटा देता हूँ करने के लिए. 1.5 घंटे में OMR include circle करना, मतलब that's the maximum time they are allowed, 1.5 hours. उससे तुमको उस 1.5 घंटे में पेपर में क्वेश्चन छांटने भी तो है ना, पन्ने पलटने पड़ेंगे, क्वेश्चन देखना है, मतलब वो आदत होती है करने की. अगर सिर्फ, and don't do it from any digital means, even from my channel. My channel is for helping you look at the question in a very segregated way. माइक्रो टॉपिक्स में तुमको क्वेश्चन मिल जाएंगे, कुछ भी ढूंढना चाहो टैग्स को कंबाइन करके, चाहे वर्ड्स एंड टैग्स को, चाहे वर्ड्स कंबाइन करके, तुम उसको देख सकती हो किसी भी माइक्रो टॉपिक पे क्वेश्चन कैसा आ रहा है. दैट इज द वर्सेटैलिटी ऑफ द चैनल, बट इट डज नॉट रिप्लेस द फिजिकल प्रिंट एंड द मॉक पार्ट ऑफ द प्रिपरेशन. ठीक है दृष्टि?
Yes, sir.
जरूर
Thank
करना है, जरूर करना है, मैंडेटरी है. हफ्ते
Yes,
में
sir.
2 मॉक्स लगाओ, चाहे 3 मॉक्स लगाओ, बट जरूर लगाओ.
Okay, sir.
You will see an improvement in performance.
So I'll just echo one thing and clarify one thing with Drishti. So when Sir says that we'll be able to segregate it, yes, topic wise we will be able to. Also, what will happen is over time you'll be able to see a pattern across your topics. So that's why topic wise study is important. You have enough time, use any resource, but see that pattern. What is UPSC really interested in asking you? So for example, I'll open up a sheet where I've tracked this. When it asks about sulfur and nitrogen, AQI, what do they measure? You'll know that these are important pollutants for UPSC or greenhouse gases. You'll know that. In fact, I'll just show you one pattern right here. 1 second. So the 2023 invasive species question, if you remember, there was, and maybe, sir, if we can just share that question with them.
This is the
Invasive species will be the keyword to search. 2023.
okay.
I'll read it out also, 1 second. I have it. So I'll just read it out to everybody. The question was invasive species. Are you able to see my screen? 1 second. I'll actually.
Specialist group, invasive species specialist group वाला क्या?
Yes, sir. I'll just do share entire screen. Now you can. Is everyone able to see
नहीं
this
तो,
question?
You can open ET research channel. वही share कर लो screen
यहाँ पे
पे.
खोल दिया सर. ये दिख रहा है?
Yeah, Prabha, it's visible.
Thanks. So invasive species specialist group that develops global invasive species database belongs to which one of the following organizations, right? So they've given you all of this. I came back and I did this little analysis on how PYQs helped me or how oral test or ET helped me. Here, if you really look at this is the note I told myself 1 year ago. This was, to me, this was a non-standard organization, or basically the specialist. This part was non-standard, but what happens is in many PYQs, UPSC has taught us that we should know the bare minimum nature of an organization. So if you remember the, what was it? The tracker, climate tracker question.
Climate action tracker.
Climate action tracker question. So
Hmm.
that was again a play on just knowing the important function or the nature of an organization, right? You don't we don't have to do specific nitty-gritty details about the organization, just their broad functions. So even here, if you really think of the options that they gave us, IUCN fit in the most perfectly, just based on knowing what the other organizations also do and what IUCN does. So that was how I tackled this question. And I have written here as well that knowing general nature of IUCN, UNEP, UNCET, WWF might help. So knowing that IUCN works with research and data on species will help you tackle it. So this pattern will come from topic-wise studies. That's one thing. This is so 2023 has been analyzed this way. I think I'll share that on my channel as well. Now, Drishti, when you were asking about mocks, were you referring to coaching class mocks or PYQ mocks?
Coaching classes mocks.
Ha, you are referring to coaching class mocks, right? So,
Yes, ma'am.
and your question was that if you skip coaching class mocks, is it okay? Will it cost you a lot? Given that you will do your PYQs in your revision, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Has that question been answered? You want me
Yes,
to
sir.
elaborate?
But you can also answer.
नहीं ठीक है तो basic
हाँ तो
तो
तुम
हो
एक
गया
बार
ना?
राउंड अप उसको हाँ
Summary यही है कि don't do it at the cost of PYQs and
Yes.
your revision of course. And sectionals अगर करने हैं, if a certain topic you are feeling like you're not strong in it, modern history हो गया, उसका sectional उठा लो, that might be more helpful. If you think you're
or
struggling.
any NCRT based test also if you
Yes.
want NCRT revise हो जाएंगी but and the mocks which I was talking of were the PYQs papers only from 2011 till 2023 Drishti. Okay, I was not referring
Okay,
to
sir.
coaching mocks.
Oh, okay, sir. I was referring to the coaching classes mocks, which is not based on the PYQs and the
हाँ
UPSC
वो
training.
छोड़ वो तो मैंने बोला ना लग्जरी है वो if you want to absolutely do them पहले कोचिंग ये कर लो ना पहले PYQs का कर लो
Yes,
if
sir.
time
That
allows
is
then you can do if
yes,
time
sir. That is
doesn't allow हाँ and if तुम नहीं भी कर रही हो तो कोई बहुत बड़ा नुकसान नहीं हो रहा है I don't know प्रभा तुमने किया था क्या कुछ PY इसका कोचिंग का कुछ किया था
I was going to answer that and even ask Samakshi and Tamil to add on. So,
हाँ.
I had done some, but I found sectionals more helpful. In fact, Samakshi had been very helpful in sending us NCRT-based coaching mock tests. Those were also helpful. So, Drishti, I would say, एक बार ना quality देख लेना. If you think that a coaching is getting too exotic with the facts, then I would say you don't worry about it. And Baki, I'll let Samakshi, if you guys want to chime in on this, guys. If anyone's not done coaching mocks and still felt confident, because it's all about confidence, thoda sa.
I did do a few like subject based किए थे because वो FOMO ही था. But थोड़ा सा I find coaching mock sometimes useful because I feel like it helps me recall better. If I make a mistake in a question, I see the answer, I'll remember it. And that had helped me in 2022. So for that reason, I did it. And end में मैंने वो जो बहुत famous coaching से mocks आते हैं which are unnecessarily tough and crazily like some weird stuff they do. दो लगाए थे मैंने बस क्योंकि those mocks are actually very lengthy appearing. And I know कि exam मेरे को lengthy लगता है हमेशा. So I wanted to get used to the timing. But just for that, I got some like, I don't know, 45 marks. So marks don't matter in that, I would say.
तो अल्टीमेट बात वही है कि कोचिंग मॉक्स को हाथ लगाओ वंस यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट एंड क्लियर अबाउट PYQs. इन लोगों ने तभी शुरू किया था टच करना कोचिंग मॉक्स को. उसके बाद करना इट्स ओके बिकॉज यू विल हैव द विजडम टू प्रोटेक्ट योरसेल्फ फ्रॉम द नेगेटिव इन्फ्लुएंसेस. बट अगर वो क्लैरिटी नहीं है दैट शील्ड इज नॉट देयर ऑफ PYQs तो फिर वो हार्म करेगा कोचिंग का मॉक. एंड इफ यू फील की टेंशन ना हो रही है तो छोड़ दो उसको. आई वुड any day I would say agar if it is a choice between PYQs and coaching mocks always I would put my bet on PYQs.
Also, so Samakshi alluded to this briefly. Dishi, don't worry about the scores you get in your mock, especially closer to the exam. Don't let that pull you down. Just learn whatever. Basically, you shouldn't get the standard stuff wrong. And if there's a pattern in your mistakes, identify that mistake and try to ensure वो नहीं होता है वापस. बस score से परेशान मत होना.
हाँ बिल्कुल. इट्स ऑल अबाउट आसान क्वेश्चन ढूंढ पा रही हो कि नहीं बस वो प्रैक्टिस वाला समथिंग उस एंगल से. दैट्स ऑल. Can you do the easy questions that were there in the paper? If there were only 10 easy questions, could you identify all 10 and could you solve? And how much time it took? That's all. उस टाइप से बस देख लेना. If you want to do it that way, बहुत ज्यादा sentimental नहीं होना है performance में coaching का लेके. Anything else? Shanmugam.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, this time there are many current affairs based questions, and how did you tackle those questions? And what was your material for current affairs revision?
Okay, let's tackle the current. We'll move to the next. That's a good segue
Yes,
into the current
yes,
affairs
yes,
thing also.
yes.
So guys, I'll address how did I tackle current first. I used to try to do newspapers, but it used to take me a of time. I then started relying, sir would do classes for us for monthly magazines. So I relied on monthly magazines, I'll be very honest with that. And he used to do oral tests on each of these monthly magazines. So he ensured that all of it is covered. If you've not done that, it's okay. Do not feel FOMO about it. Monthly magazines ka time hai. In fact, don't even do monthly magazines at this stage. Just pick up the PT 365 and do it. We will be very rational and very wise about the time we invest in current affairs because it cannot come at the cost of your static. Okay, so have a very wise ratio in terms of that. I would say if you've not done current till now, pick up the PT 365, do it. Be very vigilant in terms of the static links that are being created. That will be a good revision as well. So that was my source. This is not going to apply when it comes to mains and interview. Newspaper reading will become important, but we'll get to that when we cross that bridge. So that was how I tackled current affairs. If you're reading newspapers, rely on it, go back to your notes. We are not going to endorse any platform here for any compilation. All of them are good. The reputed ones, just go for that. But if you are someone who's been reading the newspaper and making your notes, revise it from your notes only. No new source at this stage. All right. What was your first part, Sharma? How did I tackle more number of current affair questions? How did I tackle it, right?
Because this time more questions were linked with current affairs.
So I'll be honest, Shanmugam, during the paper, that segregation kind of goes away. Oh, this is a current question, this is a static question. Your brain will be focused on just processing it, whatever statement is there. So don't overwhelm yourself. Let's say you've read the questions 1 to 100. Don't get worried that, oh, this is too much current. Your brain won't even process it. You will just focus on those statements and try to logically work your way through it. That's it. How to prepare it right now, I've already said. Hai na?
You'll have to
Thank you.
practice, Shanmugam. The point is UPSC is not expecting you need to understand what is reasonable for a beginner student, a 21-year-old beginner student to prepare for this exam. That is what UPSC will expect from all students. It is not going to expect beyond that. So there was one question, for example, that 60% processing of uranium, minimum 60% is needed for generating electricity. It is not expecting you whether you know it is 60% or 59% or 61%. That the focus is not there on that number. The focus is on the bigger message that will such a fairly high level of processing be needed for just a simple task as producing electricity. If that were the case, then it would be known to you. It would be mentioned in your books also, because 100% processing, or the more you come closer to 100% processing, the closer you are coming to weapons grade uranium, right? So it's overall just distance yourself from the question and just see if some fact given in the question is possible for a 21-year-old first attempter to prepare or not. If it is not possible for that student to prepare, UPSC is not expecting you knowledge of that fact. So go around that fact and look for the bigger message and then try to attempt the statements based on that. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, Samakshi, I'll just write down your question so you don't forget, and I'll just echo the same theme
Go
here.
on, go on.
I'll tell you who's at risk of over-analyzing a question, guys. People who are veterans like me, and people who are subject matter experts. So, for example, let's just say someone's a civil engineer or someone's a lawyer. We are at high risk of overlap. I had this problem and sir has very patiently tried to train me against that. I would overanalyze a question to really get into the nitty-gritty and worry about the specifics. I used to lose sight of the big picture. So one cardinal rule that helped me is that will a 21 or 22-year-old fresher be able to solve this question? So that would remove my technical hat and my overanalyzing hat and allow me to really look at the question from the macro picture. So students of SIR would know what we mean when we say macro picture. But even generally, all we're trying to say is that don't overanalyze a simple statement that the UPSC gives. Be very careful of that. If it's giving you a simple statement, it's not setting a trap. It's there because it wants you to identify this is the low-hanging fruit for you. Okay, so that is what I wanted to tell you. Yes, Samakshi.
Yeah, Prabha, let me know if I should ask this question later. So I have to ask you, how are you filling your OMR? Why I'm asking is because when I was practicing filling OMRs last year, I was making mistakes. And I know while while I'm giving the exam, एक question ऊपर नीचे हो गया, I'll just get so panicked that I'm going to make mistakes, right? So for that reason, the way I filled OMR was always, because I know शुरू में tension is always more. So after the first, while doing the first round, I did not fill in the OMR. And it was while doing the second round that I would start filling the OMR. Third round, mein again you fill. Third round, the moment you solve a question, you fill the OMR. That is how I did it. And because of that, what also happened is 1 or 2 questions that I was marking wrong in the first attempt, I would get them right in the first round. If I'm processing a question in the first round, I'm maybe marking it wrong in the question paper. But when I come to it in the second round, right before marking the OMR, I would make the correction. Are you able to understand what I'm saying?
I'm interested in now. So let's say you did not mark it in the first round. In the second round and third round, you marked them simultaneously, right?
Yeah, second round I marked them simultaneously.
When did you mark your first round?
Time wise.
No, at what stage? So
The
you.
second round.
So in the
So
sec-
yeah, I'm just talking to you. I have the question paper.
Huh?
I'm flipping through. First round chal raha hai. 25 questions. I mark in the question paper itself. Option A, option B, option C. I don't mark it in the OMR. Then when I come back in the second round, I keep solving more questions, and these questions that I've already solved, I mark these also in the OMR.
Got it. So you
Right.
go in the second round, you go 1 to 100 again.
Yeah.
And then you mark and simultaneously. So you see your question 1, and if that was round 1, you will mark that, and then you'll
Yeah.
also keep attempting the new round 2s. Okay.
Yeah.
This is interesting because guys, everyone will have their own strategy. So just build your own, and you need PYQ practice for that. Now, Samakshi, I'll tell you what I used to do. All 6 attempts, I have marked every single question simultaneously. And I have a, what do you call it, irrational paranoia of forms in general, which is very
Yeah,
silly
same here,
because
same
I'm
here.
going to be a bureaucrat.
Yeah.
But मुझे form देखते हुए ना ऐसे 2-3 बार I recheck. So
I forget my signature when I'm signing. What is my sign? Yeah. Happens.
So what happens is when I do it 1:1, when I go from the question paper to the OMR, I am very vigilant and that wastes
Yeah.
time. I know that my speed is slow. I know that I mark less questions because my speed is slow. But with practice, what happened is I built the confidence that I need that time to make sure गलती नहीं हो. But मैं simultaneously करती हूँ. 6 attempts, I have always done it simultaneously, but really just do what you've practiced and trained your muscle memory in your mocks. That is my only advice. I will not say that mine is the best because it's really not.
Yeah. Sir, any comments or do you have any
अभी तुम
comments?
ट्राई करोगी द नेक्स्ट मॉक दैट यू
हाँ,
गिव,
sir.
पहले 30 क्वेश्चंस करने हैं तुमने जो इजी वाले होते हैं, है ना? द पॉइंट इज इजी वाले क्वेश्चन में सेकंड थॉट का कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं होती है.
तो थोड़ा केयरलेस मिस्टेक्स का 1-2 हो जाता है तो वो करेक्ट हो जाता है सेकंड राउंड में.
सो बात ये है, अगर केयरलेस मिस्टेक को इफ यू से कि आई मे मेक केयरलेस मिस्टेक्स, देन you will open yourself to that vulnerability for every time you are attempting a question. लेकिन अगर वही चीज तुम्हारे दिमाग में ये है कि नहीं मैंने क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करना है और मार्क करना है उसी टाइम पे, यू विल बी केयरफुल एनफ कि वो प्रैक्टिस में आ जाएगा तुम्हारे. अभी अगर इफ यू गिव योरसेल्फ द रूम कि नहीं मैं बाद में सेकंड अटेम्प्ट के साथ में मार्क करूंगी, तो अभी करते समय जल्दबाजी में कुछ पढ़ लिया, कुछ गलत मार्क कर दिया, फिर बाद में भी तो टेंशन ही रहेगी ना. यू विल अगेन रीड द क्वेश्चन एंड अगेन सॉल्व इट. एक्चुअली जो क्वेश्चन 10 सेकंड में होना था वो फिर 10 सेकंड लेगा वहां पे, राइट? सो अभी जो है व्हाट यू ट्राई इज, जैसे ही क्वेश्चन करोगी गलत होगा तो गलत ही तो हो जाएगा ना, कोई बात नहीं, उसका पता तो चल जाएगा एटलीस्ट कि मेरे से यहाँ गलती हुई, बट माइंड में वो स्ट्रेस नहीं रहेगा कि मैं बाद में दोबारा से फिर देखो कि केयरफुली रीड करूं, मार्क करूं, वो बहुत टेंशन वाली बात होती है. यही हैबिट में लेके आना है, क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो. ये फर्स्ट 30 की बात कर रहा हूँ जो 100% एक्यूरेसी वाले हैं. 10 से 20 सेकंड से ज्यादा नहीं लगने चाहिए उन क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करने के लिए. एक क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करने के लिए यू रीड द क्वेश्चन, यू मार्क इट देन एंड देयर, उसी टाइम पे मार्क कर लो, बिकॉज यू विल बी केयरफुल एनफ कि मैं ठीक से कर रही हूँ, एंड यू विल बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल एनफ, तभी वो सर्कल सही कर रही हो. नहीं तो अगर टाइम प्रेशर में आके, प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस में बताता हूँ, मेरी एक स्टूडेंट थी स्टेट पीएससी, एमपी स्टेट पीएससी, लास्ट में उसने मार्क किए आंसर एंड कितने उसमें कई सारे, कम से कम 12 से 13 क्वेश्चंस वो मार्क करते करते 51 का 52 में मार्क कर दिया, 52 का 53 में मार्क कर दिया, 12-13 क्वेश्चंस उसने सर्कल कर दिए. तब रियलाइज हुआ कि यार इतना गड़बड़ कर रही हूँ, फिर वो रब कर दिया और वो व्हाटएवर जो भी. तो ये चीज नहीं करनी है, ये जस्ट हैव दैट कॉन्फिडेंस ना. गलती करो तो अभी करो ना, पेपर में क्यों लेके जा रही हो वो स्ट्रेस, राइट? कहाँ गई सामक्षी?
नहीं हूँ सर, ठीक है.
नहीं वो उसने हैंड रेस किया तो वो फिर मूव हो जाता है विंडो. सो द पॉइंट इज अभी करो जो प्रैक्टिस करना है, and give me report कि ऐसे कर रही हो तो is it saving any time, is it saving any stress, क्या हो रहा है, पोस्ट टेस्ट एनालिसिस में बात करेंगे इस पे, ठीक है। एंड जब सेकंड मॉक वो कर रही हो, वो ही अगेन जब सेकंड वाला कर रही हो, इफ यू आर फेयरली कॉन्फिडेंट ऑफ योर आंसर, you can mark it then and there. If you
Right.
feel some question might need recollection, recoming, उसको circle करके रख दो,
ठीक है सर।
ठीक है ना। ये नेक्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में करना and talk with me after the mock. Come in.
Actually, adding to Samaksha's point, actually, when I was trying to mark sheets, the OMR sheet in the last attempt, I marked few questions incorrectly. Though I had the answer, I marked them incorrectly. Then I have to fiddle with the mark whitener, then make sure that the whitener doesn't cross the borders. I was fiddling with it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then I decided that I will mark. I read a question. If I find the answer, then straight away mark it. So it is much
That's
more easier.
That's the best thing. Actually, देखो ये और कुछ नहीं है, ये सिर्फ एक स्ट्रेस फैक्टर है, लैक ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस है एक तरीके से, कि I want to allow myself the liberty of casualness in the first round when I'm solving it. Why do you want to do that? Competitive exam है ना, एक बार आदत हो गई ना उस चीज की, once you gain confidence फिर तुमको दोबारा सोचने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। और नहीं तो ये स्ट्रेस से क्या होता है, 2015 में मेंस में मैंने अपना नाम किसी और के नाम के आगे भरना शुरू कर दिया था इसी स्ट्रेस की वजह से। डोंट डू दैट। ओके
ओके सर। यस सर।
हाँ यस। एनी अदर डाउट?
नहीं सर, थैंक्स प्रभा, थैंक यू।
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so is the part about current affairs done? Anyone, any doubt about current affairs? No? Okay, so current affairs is done. Let's come to NCRTs, Prabha. What role do NCRTs play versus maybe reference books versus any other material like NCRT and non-NCRT material? Let us talk about it that way.
Yeah, so if anyone asks me what I changed between all the failed attempts and the final one where I made it, it was that I treated NCRT with more respect. Initially, I would think that it's just NCRTs, it's okay, they're easy, it's fine, would take them very casually. And then sir, of course, in his timetable gave us slots where we would read our NCRTs properly, study them, and then come, including the maps in the book, including images. Because the images also have certain facts that with visual memory you can recall during the exam. And then what happened is, it helped me in multiple ways. Firstly, I started enjoying the subject. I did not enjoy post-independence history as much. But NCRTs make it fun. So if you are struggling with the subject and don't find it interesting, just check with sir what the standard book is, which class and everything. And just do that and you'll find it more relaxing. So your fear of the subject will go. That's what happened with me. So that's how it helped me. Maps again are very helpful. And then the other thing is it saves you from running after exotic sources. And not just that, reading NCRTs helps you identify which fact is standard and which fact is non-standard. That is a skill. Because for UPSC, NCRT is important. Candidates who are in villages, for them that is an accessible resource and they want to create that level playing field. So NCRT will help you identify a standard fact from an exotic non-standard fact. And that distinction will also enable your decision making during the exam on whether to attempt a question or not, or how to process the statement. So that's how NCRTs help me, and I would say they're indispensable. Yeah, that's my thing on NCRTs.
Anyone, any question on NCRT?
So if someone hasn't done it already, what would you recommend?
If somebody hasn't read NCRTs altogether, then I would say now is not the time to start reading it. But certainly the images, वो जो photographs होती हैं, maps जो होते हैं, and at the end of the chapter you have the timelines. History में हो गया, जैसे timelines दिया होता है. Maybe those things, if you can, तो वो चीजें देख सकते हो. If you cannot, at least maps देख लो, images देख लो. Those are certainly going to be helpful, because nowadays we are seeing every year 1 or 2 odd questions are coming from the maps of NCRTs, and by maps I'm saying history and geography NCRT specifically, the new ones, if you can't go for the old one, हमने भी oral test course में भी old वाली नहीं करी है history की, तो geography में तो we have done lands and peoples, but new ones ज्यादा कुछ नए का भी 6 to 12 NCERT हिस्ट्री का एंड ज्योग्राफी का, उसमें जो मैप्स दिए हुए होते हैं, सारे मिनरल्स, सारे लोकेशंस, उसको सिर्फ अगर प्रैक्टिस करके जाओगे, और अगर टाइम अलाउ कर रहा है तो चैप्टर के पीछे का जो टाइमलाइन होता है वो देख सकते हो, एंड PYQs, दैट्स ऑल। अगर नहीं पढ़ा है तो यही कर सकते हो। अगर इतना भी करने का समय नहीं है तो जस्ट डू द PYQs, डोंट टच द NCERTs। अब एक आध क्वेश्चन के लिए इतना स्ट्रेस लेने का कोई पॉइंट नहीं है। जस्ट गो फॉर द PYQs, डोंट गो फॉर कोचिंग मॉक्स। पहले PYQs में ग्रिप लेके आ जाओ, एंड उसके बाद डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर टाइम यू कैन डिसाइड आगे का क्या करना है। कंसोलिडेशन, राइट नाउ कंसोलिडेशन इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, नया कुछ भी नहीं करना है। समय Mike.
I forgot. Hi, Prabha. I hope you
Hi.
are doing good. And congratulations on your
Thank
achievement.
you, thank you.
And being one among us, it's a great motivation for us. And my question was like, how relevant was NCERT for mains preparation?
Ah,
I want to know that.
okay. I'll be quick about this because I want the focus to be on prelims, but it's an important question, Tamil. You know what will happen once you clear prelims, and praying that all of you do, once you clear prelims is when firstly you will actually start feeling like you don't know anything and you need to start studying everything again, and you'll start collecting resources and stuff. I would say that for general studies, which is what your NCERTs will tackle, you have the knowledge. It's in your head. You already studies and CRTs, you have your notes, hopefully. And if you need to revise your notes or your highlights in the NCERTs. Wouldn't need to study NCERTs altogether again for mains. Mains is a game of writing and just writing. So I used to write with another program and a mentor. I used to write on a daily basis for minimum 2 hours between prelims and mains. I've also done, in fact, by the end of it, we were doing 3 hours and 3 hours, so 6 hours a day in the exam setting. I wouldn't say you really need to revisit NCERTs altogether. Rely on your notes. And I want you to take one thing away from this. If you're anxious about, okay, I may clear prelims, but then what about mains? If that's an anxiety, even right now at this stage, know that you will have the knowledge for general studies through your prelims. You just have to start writing and refine the skill in that. That's it.
Okay. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. So I think NCERT's part is done. Any doubt, anyone about NCERTs? No? Okay. Let's now come to elimination. All right. So Prabha, how impactful do you feel is our elimination in exam?
Yes. Now, anxieties were high because of 2023 in terms of elimination. It would be higher if elimination is taught in a shortcut manner. And if you just take a pool of certain techniques and try to really muck them up, what we were trained, I mean, I wish we had called it something else because elimination now has got a bad name, maybe processing or logical thinking.
ऐसा ही कुछ हो गया है।
But what we were trained in with sir was, and I think we started in December, Jan, sir. So we had a lot of time. And again,
First Jan, हाँ.
again, for anyone who's not done it, no FOMO at all. You have the skills in your head.
Yes.
You've lived, so one thing I noticed is, and I want to mention where was that question? The one where it said that alcohol is packed in plastic bottles or something like that. PET bottles is used to. Something to do with PET plastic,
bottle
no?
करके कुछ तो था. हाँ. You want me to share the question?
Yes, I can do that.
1 second, just search it. Alcohol and any word. Alcohol and any अगर हाँ. तो ये है question 76 of 22. Okay, I'll just share it. नहीं, एक minute.
76 of?
Wait.
46 of 2022.
हाँ 46 आ गया, 46 मिल गया, ठीक है. So this one was containers made of polyethylene terephthalate, basically. So that is a polyethylene terephthalate. Have you guys Can you imagine being in your day-to-day life and really thinking of pet plastic? Like you've heard of that. कहीं ना कहीं सुना है हमने pet plastic, right? Recycling में भी आता है, news में आता है. A polyethylene terephthalate डाल दिया just to test. And we don't have to know the full form also. Pet जानते हैं, but when you see an awareness है, and this is where being calm comes into play, you might be able to see that, okay, hey, this might be pet plastic. I know it's a stretch, but थोड़ा सा calm रहेंगे तो we'll be able to apply our day-to-day knowledge. That is one lesson here. The other thing was that the statement said bottles made of pet plastic, bottles made of it, they're talking about pet plastic, can be used to store any alcoholic beverage. The simple thing here is, why don't we see it then? Right? And this is what's also taught us. So being able to, again, now elimination, the reason I even took this example is that if you've not taken any elimination course that we had done in January, that's okay. Just know that you have this lived accumulated knowledge across your life of 24, 26, 28 years. Just be calm enough to apply it, right? Because in this, the main question was, why don't we see it? Why don't we see alcohol being served in plastic bottles? Simple. So that is one thing. We were trained in the elimination course, we were trained in really how to process these things using our accumulated knowledge, using logic, common sense. A lot of the time, sir would be like, just please apply your common sense. Simple. We were also trained on how to identify lowest hanging fruit before we would, get stuck in the very complicated statements. That was one. So it helped me. And one thing we can do, I hope it doesn't waste time. I have this document here. Let's try it. Let's try maybe 5 minutes of an exercise if we have time. So this document here was when I came back from Prelims 2023, I think 2-3 days after that, I made this on Excel. And you see these number of questions. I think I identified 48 questions where I said, can elimination or processing? So is everyone able to see this column?
Yes.
Just we lose track of this. So just look at this icon and everything under that, okay? Now, elimination or processing, can we apply that? So here, for example, the parole rule question. Now, this one was on Prisons Act 1894, and could processing be applied here? So in this case, how I processed it is that we don't have to know Prisons Act 1894, but processing will help us understand that in 1894, we were still before Government of India Act of 1919. So the subjects had not been devolved to provincial governments. So there was no way that prisons, or no reason why prisons would be with state government or provincial government. So I use this. Now the other thing, now this is a beautiful question for a case study on how PYQs also help, and processing or elimination helps us work our way through the question. In 2021, the question was on parole rules, and it said that states decide prison rules or something like that. So if we practice our PYQs, we'll be able to think of it in those terms, and also this contextual processing. So that's one example. What we'll do is, under this icon, let's see all the yeses that I've written for either elimination or processing. We'll do this quickly. The next one was, what is the chief purpose of the Constitution? So here the main, and that's the thing. So all the statements, and guys, I'm going to discuss this question assuming everyone knows what I'm talking about. So just, how should we do this? Do you want to raise your hand if you don't know the question and you want to look at it?
I'll share the question in the channel. कौन सा question
I
है?
can also share it here. So
हाँ,
let's,
ये बस स्क्रीन पे ही दिखा दो ना,
ठीक है.
सबको दिख रहा है. हाँ, रिकॉर्ड भी हो रहा है ये, तो like the
Done.
video also will have the question.
So chief, here, so remember this chief question, okay? Which one of the following best reflects the chief? And I remember in the question paper, they gave it in bold. So we
Acha.
had been trained through, because I've written it somewhere in my notes,
Acha,
we had been trained through our exercise with you to identify this. Why would UPSC make it bold if it didn't want us to focus on it?
Okay.
So, and you trained us this in the elimination course. Now here, I've actually written verbatim here, if we read it. So I've said, notice the word chief given in bold. UPSC gave it in bold for a reason. This is to distinguish it from other peripheral functions that Constitution plays. The most appropriate answer for chief purpose is option C. What was option C? It defines and limits the powers of government. And then I've said that statement 1, so this is the other thing in elimination or processing. None of these statements are wrong. A is not wrong. if you just read it as a standalone statement, the statement is not wrong. But UPSC wants to know our understanding of the chief purpose of the Constitution. So that's how basically processing will come into place. The other thing is PYQ 2021 is a big lesson I've written. How is it a big lesson? Let's just see. I think there was another keyword as such. I'll have to pull up which question I'm talking about. I don't know that. But basically, PYQs helped us identify this pattern on identifying the keyword that UPSC is focusing on. So under this column, we can do maybe 2-3 more just to sort of give you confidence that elimination or processing can still be worked on. Just be very active with your logic and your common sense and have faith in your day-to-day accumulated knowledge. And of course, if you've done the training in elimination with Sir, that have faith in that, it'll work. All right, so where are we? Here I seem to say yes for elimination. What have I said? Constitution defines. Let me just find another better one, maybe. Marsupials for me was another processing question. Oh, visualizing. So in our techniques, we had something for visualizing as well, right?
Visualizing wala animal species wala around questions.
Animal species mein tha shayad.
हाँ.
Marsupials mein. So actually I've written it here because I don't remember this. Sir taught us that many species-based questions can be solved by visualizing animal behavior that we see, generally see. So I think
squirrel वाला question था, वो climb पेड़ पे चढ़ती है कि burrow में
Yes.
जाती है ना, एक वो question था.
Yes.
और तुम्हारा sea lion, sea cow, sea horse, if you can visualize how those animals look, तो उसमें mammals कौन सा है, वो chance है उसका बताने का.
yes.
Right. Pangolin वाला question था, scale था, वो ऐसे circle बन जाता है, मतलब ऐसे circular हो जाता है.
Right.
To protect from attack. तो ये देखते हैं.
So
बहुत सारे
basically-
visualization पे. Honeybee वाला question, honeybee will be social insect है कि नहीं, तो butterfly कैसा है और honeybee कैसा है, dragonfly कैसा है, ये सारे general basic life का observation क्या है तुम्हारा, बस वो.
So I had faith in elimination. In fact, I think when I came out of the hall, I realized what the format change would do to elimination. I had a sense of that. But I was really thinking that I was surprised that I applied the techniques that we were trained for. So I was surprised with that yes, I had the opportunity. So this sheet is actually a record of me being able to apply it. And I think the main lesson here was that we didn't take elimination as a quick pill or a panacea. It wasn't just a jugaad for us. We were trained in that ability to really process and work our way through logic. So that's one thing, but just have faith, everyone, regardless of what course you've done. Use Sir's cardinal principle has been that use your logic and your world awareness. So he'll say that to you as well.
Exactly, that is the main thing. Sir, I've put many techniques for free also on YouTube. कई सारी techniques and multi-statement questions है तो actually मैंने free में भी डाला हुआ है. Just the point is, if you understand this exam is about level playing field, UPSC will not discriminate between a first attempter and a sixth attempter. Everybody will have an equal chance of clearing prelims. Your vision, your filter of processing the question will change. You'll be able to distance yourself better from the question and just look at the question and what exactly can a 21-year-old student do in that question. And you should put yourself in that person's shoes and just see those questions. And this will have to be done now, actually, before the exam. In the exam hall, nothing can be done. All mistakes, if you can commit a mistake right now, commit it right now, because otherwise it will get committed in the exam hall. So abhi se wo sab karke, when you see that answer aa jate hain, you can make some headway in some questions. There are in ET also, elimination also, easy, medium, hard करके questions होता है. तो अगर जिसने इतना रगड़ा नहीं खाया हुआ है कि वो हार्ड लेवल का भी क्वेश्चन कर सके, इजी वाले तो सभी कर सकते हैं. इजी वाले सम वाले क्वेश्चन होते हैं, कैन वाले क्वेश्चन होते हैं जिसमें पॉसिबल वर्ड यूज है, सम वर्ड यूज है, कैन वर्ड यूज है, लाइक दोस कुड वर्ड यूज है. इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस, कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग स्टेटमेंट्स कई बार दिया होता है, कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग स्टेटमेंट्स कई बार दिया होता है. The only thing you need is to distance yourself from the question and look at the non-standard question. Identify what is a standard question, what is given in the books, in your NCRTs. That's why reading the NCRTs is important. It improves your judgment of what is preparable, what is not preparable. And once you identify that it's a non-preparable question, put yourself in the shoes of a 21-year-old and then look at the question. You will see better processing in that question, more accuracy in that question. But of course, it requires a lot of practice. You can't just go and do what I'm saying right now in the exam hall. Pehle karo, judge for yourself, and then for 3 statement questions, to ye ho jayega. Galtiyan karo, you submit questions for discussion. Now I'll make videos on those questions. Multi-statement, 3 statement questions ka to I can help in that way. So, but karo to sahi, karne ki baat hoti hai, right?
Whoever's doing it, we wouldn't ask for doubts, but just ask for doubts. When he calls for doubts, pooch lo. It's very helpful.
Right. So that is about elimination. Anyone, any other doubt? Right. One big belief, so to say, I feel it's a misconception that people think elimination ab kaam nahi karta hai. You have to differentiate. You have to understand kya kaam nahi karta hai. Dekho, mechanical cheez kaam nahi karti hai. The 21st century is the age of information. So knowledge is now taking a back seat because access to information is available at all times, 24 hours. Your job in the civil services would be the ability to make decisions, timely decisions, effective decisions with empathy, with teamwork. Wo kar sakte ho ki nahi? Can you lead your men? Simple as that. Can you lead yourself? Right? So that is what, and that will require understanding of yourself, understanding of your strengths and weaknesses, and the attitude of continuous improvement. तो वो सारी चीजें हैं. Your core is that. तो अगर आप उस चीज के बेसिस पे काम कर रहे हो, क्वेश्चन को देख रहे हो, तो वो चीज कभी हटाई नहीं जा सकती. सिविल सर्विसेज एज अ करियर विल ऑलवेज रिमेन दैट, अनलेस यूपीएससी डिसाइड्स कि इट वांट्स ओनली नॉलेज वाले लोग एंड सिर्फ जिसको चीजें रटी हुई हैं. बट वो फील्ड में जब इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन हैंडल करनी है तो वो कामयाब नहीं होंगे. So from that angle, that is what I say is elimination. Like basically knowledge, logical thinking, having trust in yourself. That thing can never go out of fashion. हाँ, थोड़ा मोल्ड जरूर हो सकता है. आपकी बार उसने स्टेटमेंट चेंज कर दिया मल्टी स्टेटमेंट में, तो 2 स्टेटमेंट में भी उसने इजी किया. अगर मल्टी स्टेटमेंट टफ किया है, 2 स्टेटमेंट को इजी किया है. तो and the cutoff is just 75 marks, right? 75 and कितना 0.4 or 0.5 something. So what does that mean? 20 क्वेश्चन तो मैंने इस बार जैसे ही prelims 2023 हुआ था, I had said that our course has been hit by at least 20 to 30 marks. 10 to 15 questions का hit हुआ है कोर्स को because of the change in ये 50 क्वेश्चन आ गए नए पैटर्न पे. वो क्वेश्चन नहीं आए होते तो 95 के आसपास जो वो तो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स का क्लियर होना था, एटलीस्ट पेपर 1 क्लियर होना था. राइट. सो द पॉइंट इज कि अब कुछ मुश्किल हो रहा है तो कुछ आसान भी होगा. जस्ट कीप योर कूल. एंड इवन इन द क्वेश्चन जहां मुश्किल कर रहा है, अभी वी आर गेटिंग ट्रेन्ड, राइट, इन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, ऑल ऑफ द अबव, नन ऑफ द अबव, जस्ट वन कैन नॉट बी द आंसर. उसी से कितने सारे क्वेश्चंस हो जाते हैं. So overall, that was a shock, yes, but today we are certainly in a much better position because we analyzed all questions once again from 2011 from the lens of whether iota, nota, and just one statement can be the answer or not, the probability of those options to be the answer, right? So घबराने वाली ये बात नहीं है, but it is all about 20 क्वेश्चन. तो मरे से मरा 2023 के पेपर में भी 20 ऐसे क्वेश्चंस थे जो बिल्कुल इजी वाले, जो हलवा क्वेश्चंस, जिनको मैं स्टैंडर्ड फैक्ट जो कहता हूँ 30 to 35 होते हैं, वो 20 पे आ गए थे. लेकिन वो तो कर ही सकते थे. एंड 20-30 क्वेश्चन तो ईटी से भी हो रहे हैं. पेपर तो तब भी पास हो जाना है. द पॉइंट इज योर एबिलिटी टू नॉट गेट मच इफेक्टेड बाय व्हाट चेंज इज देयर इन द पेपर. अपनी कूल अगर लूज नहीं करोगे तो पेपर ये पास होने का ही था. And just 75 marks means what? Focus on PYQs, focus on static. Don't run after too many exotic things, too many facts, too much load. दिमाग पे लोड नहीं लेना है. एक्स्ट्रा जो चीज कैरी नहीं कर सकते वो दिमाग में नहीं डालनी है. कंसोलिडेशन पे काम करो, PYQs पे काम करो, मैपिंग पे काम करो. What is organic? What is good? What is logical? And have faith in yourself, even if you are not trained with me in elimination. But whatever you have in your hands right now, that's very good enough. तुम वो भी अभी यूज नहीं कर रहे हो ढंग से जो तुम्हारे हाथों में है, just because you don't trust yourself. बस एक ये बात. So pick out PYQs, look for those questions. If you have subscribed to my PYQ channel, ET research channel is such, उसमें इतनी मेहनत लगी है, देखो टैग्स कैसे कैसे हैं उसमें, बहुत वैरायटी के क्वेश्चंस उसमें टैग हो रखे हैं. You can, if you can think of a variety, that most likely that tag will be there. ढूंढो वो क्वेश्चन निकालो एंड सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करो. बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस ऐसे होंगे, you will be surprised कि you can mark actually if you just trust yourself. तो प्रैक्टिस अभी करना है and you will certainly be able to improve your performance. The only thing is don't be indiscriminate. रट्टा मार के वो नहीं करना है, जो don't be rough with the question. जबरदस्ती नहीं करना है किसी भी क्वेश्चन के साथ, सिर्फ इतनी बात. You will be good in the exam. So I think easy discussion we can close now. Dedicated अगर कुछ चाहिए तो we can request Prabha for another session maybe just for the ET students. Let's move ahead. CSAT, Prabha, क्या करें? How do you
Yes.
prepare?
Okay, so CSAT, the first myth that got busted when I was training was that I used to worry that I've not attempted enough questions if I was at 55 questions or something. But when I was checking with Sir, he taught us that 55 is a good number. In fact, my sweet spot and anyone's sweet spot for that matter was 45 to 48, even 50. That's it. Like, we don't have to stress about doing too many, because in CSAT, what will happen is these questions need time. RC needs time. Sorry, reading comprehension needs time. Quant needs time. So if you give it time, if your goal is to ensure high accuracy, then if you're doing 45 to 48 questions, you will clear the cutoff with a very comfortable margin. That was one thing that I trained myself in. Now, how do you, in 2 hours, the goal is to identify and pick the questions that are your strength and are easy. You have to ensure that you don't miss out on the easy questions to try and solve the questions that take too long or are difficult. That will come through PYQ practice, and it will come only through PYQ practice under exam condition. So what I would suggest is, in the next 1 week, if you've not already done this, solve your PYQ, start with 2023, and your goal should be two-fronted goal in a way. The first one has to be to understand if you have picked the right questions, that you've not missed out on solving the easy ones. And yeah, basically just solve the easy ones and ensure that you've not wasted too much time on the difficult ones. That's one. If you have done that, that's okay too. We're at a point where you can improve that. So we'll know that this is a problem in that case. Just check if it's a problem or not. Second thing you have to do is understand your conceptual grasp of the different topics. Reading comprehension, I'll discuss separately. In quant and logic, there's a list of the topics, right? So just in 2023 practice, see where you stand in those concepts and then make a list. So what I had done is I had ranked these subtopics in quant and logic based on my strength, and also the weightage that UPSC gives. Weightage you will get from any online resource, and then check it in terms of your strength. So I had it ranked. Then what I did is, from my highest comfort subject to the lowest, I did PYQ questions on these topics, quant and logic. There are YouTube resources for this. Just type the subject and you will get PYQs on those subjects. Knock that task off within the next week, and Sir will guide you if there are changes in CSAT. Follow what Sir is saying, but I would say knock it off in the next 5 weeks also, because it will give you more confidence. There won't be a nagging thought in your head all the time that my CSAT is lacking, right? So that's one advice for quant and logic. Let me know if there are questions with quant and logic right now.
Any doubt about
how to
quant and
tackle?
logic? Okay, I will ask. बहुत लोगों ने मेरे से बात करी थी इस बारे में. अभी नया जो पैटर्न आया quant में 2023 में,
Yeah.
how did you handle that?
Yes. So what had happened is, now this is another lesson for us. In my practice, I used to do RC first and then quant and logic after that, because I started feeling very confident in RC, and I'll talk more about that later. But what happened is, within the last week, somehow my reading comprehension score dipped. I don't know why. It could have been some environmental conditions or something like that, but I took that too seriously. So in the final attempt, what I did is so I'm usually comfortable with math and logic. I find it very enjoyable. I find it comfortable. So my fallback was that, no, stick to your strengths. So I solved quant and logic first, which was disastrous because that was a huge hit on confidence. And I could see that one question after the other is not my forte. I don't enjoy permutation combination too much. And there were a lot of PNC questions. So throughout that time, what I had to do is remind myself that I have reading comprehension waiting for me. Don't worry, you will ace RC, you will ace RC, you have trained in it. So that was a self-talk that I had to keep giving myself because my strong subject was very difficult. This might happen in the actual paper. Something new, something shocking will happen. Just keep assuring yourself that there are more questions which you will get. That was one thing. So it was a shock. Quantum logic for me was a shock. But how did I prepare for it? I've already discussed. I took the concepts. I did PYQs, theme-wise, subtopic-wise PYQs kiya, concepts clear kiye. And then during the actual paper, I told you what happened. Now, what saved me was RC. The problem with my previous attempts in reading comprehension, though I should say that I've cleared CSAT every single year, that wasn't an issue. But with reading comprehension, I had a misconception. I used to think that it's a game of language. So for me, what used to happen is I didn't have the confidence because I would always get stuck between two statements that were very close. So that was a confidence issue there. I had taken Sir's reading comprehension course, and what happened in that is I learned the pattern of traps that UPSC sets. And Sir teaches these techniques. One of them was tone, for example. What is the tone of the author? What is the main point? So we practiced at length. We would summarize. I still remember all of us were there. We would read the paragraph and Sir would ask us to write what the main point of the author, what is the main point he's trying to make. So when I didn't have this technique in my head. But when we really think of, okay, what is the author really trying to say? You're able to solve it. So that was my comfort with reading comprehension that saved me when I knew my strong subjects were very difficult that year. So that was how I benefited from, or how I tackled reading comprehension.
Absolutely. The main idea and tone, of course, बहुत जरूरी. And there's a career skill also. When you join the services, you will have to, itni sari files, jitna sara information, you can't read everything, but you will have to know what is there in every file, in every content. So main idea and tone, life skill actually, it's not just for one exam. So any other doubt about CSAT before we move to the next part? Nothing. All right, Prabha. So last 2 months, kya kare?
I think Drishti has a question.
Yes, Drishti.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to ask if my reading comprehension is good, and I have done only some topics of quant. So if I leave some topic of quants and focused more on what I know, so will it be possible to crack CSAT?
Yes and no. I had left PNC, but इस PNC का weightage बहुत high आ गया. So it really depends. Ensure that whatever you're leaving is not eroding your confidence. Firstly, that's the principle that just because you've left a subtopic in quant, you shouldn't feel at the end of the day or during the exam that I didn't do this topic. So you will not leave any subtopic for whom a PYQ is there, of course. So that is clear, right? So we will ensure that every subtopic is covered from the PYQ's angle. So that will ensure you've not left any quant or logic topic. And yeah, I think that should be enough.
Okay, ma'am.
Does that answer your question? It was a little winded way of saying stuff.
Yes, actually, ma'am, I'm very poor at percentage, and I got like very bored in studying that, so I left that part, and I'm focusing more on the permutation and combination, which was asked more.
So make sure that you're able to solve every PYQ in quantum logic. Of course, okay, so there's a caveat here. The 2023 PYQs of quantum logic were also hard. So don't hit your head too hard for that. You will know when you're solving and it's taking too long. You will know which is the more exotic quantum logic question. But really the simpler ones, just do it. Don't leave the simple ones. And then of course you're strong in RC, bank on I mean, bank on that, but then again, this year they could make RC harder. That's
Okay,
also a
ma'am.
problem. So that's why I don't want you to
Ultimately,
focus only on RC.
exactly. See, ultimately, CSAT and even GS paper 1, they are all about choosing the easy questions, right? So if अब तक अगर कुछ नहीं किया है, मान लो अगर हम अज्यूम करें कि तुमने परसेंटेजेस में अब तक बिल्कुल ही कुछ नहीं किया हुआ है, अब वो उठाना may cost you a lot of time and a lot of stress also. But the thing is, just जैसे Prabha has said, just go through topic wise the questions of percentages and see if there are any easy questions from the topic which you have left. If you feel some question is easy, some question is doable, and how do you feel it is easy or not, just watch some video. YouTube पे तो आजकल मिल जाता है solution if there is any, you know, कोई कोर्स किया हुआ है, लिया हुआ है या कुछ, YouTube पे फ्री में भी वीडियो मिल जाते हैं PYQs के ऊपर. If any solution makes sense to you, that would be a question that should count as easy to you. So maybe at least, if not every topic, everything from percentages, at least the bare minimum which is required for functioning as a bureaucrat also. ना percentages तो fractions तो एक basic requirement होती है. So कुछ अगर ऐसा है जो उस topic से तुम्हें समझ में आ पा रहा है, तो you may want to practice some 50-100 odd questions like topic wise. फिर कोई भी book ले लो जिसपे परसेंटेजेस के चैप्टर पे ऐसा क्वेश्चन होगा एंड उसमें भी उस टाइप के क्वेश्चन सारे प्रैक्टिस कर लो. अभी नए में घुसना बहुत रिस्की होगा, अभी कंसोलिडेशन का टाइम है. परम्यूटेशंस अगर बहुत अच्छा लगता है तुमको, तो परम्यूटेशंस में तुम ज्यादा टाइप के कर सकते हो. एवरी टॉपिक कैन हैव इजी, मीडियम एंड हार्ड क्वेश्चंस एंड इट कैन चेंज द अपीयरेंस ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, कैन चेंज फ्रॉम ईयर टू ईयर. किसी साल में किसी टॉपिक से इजी आ सकते हैं, किसी साल में किसी टॉपिक से मुश्किल आ सकते हैं. तो देखो, रिस्क तो ऑफ कोर्स है. अब ये बोलना कि उसमें रिस्क नहीं है वो तो गलत होगा. रिस्क तो ऑफ कोर्स है, बट द पॉइंट इज अल्टीमेटली तुमको कितने क्वेश्चंस करने हैं? 66 मार्क्स लेके आने हैं. तो इफ यू कैन डू लाइक 45 odd क्वेश्चंस, 40 to 45 odd क्वेश्चंस विद अ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ एक्यूरेसी, यू विल बी क्लियरिंग प्रीलिम्स. तो जब अभी मॉक प्रैक्टिस करना शुरू हो जाओ, हफ्ते का 1 मॉक लगा सकते हो, 2 मॉक लगा सकते हो जो यूपीएससी के ही पेपर्स हैं. गो फॉर सिलेक्टिंग द इजी, द बेस्ट 45 क्वेश्चंस इन द पेपर, द बेस्ट 45. उसमें अगर परसेंटेजेस छोड़ना है तो सारे छोड़ दो, कोई बात नहीं. सारे भी छोड़ने के बाद जो बेस्ट 45 कर रही हो, क्या उसमें से 40 सही कर रही हो, क्या उसमें से 38 सही कर रही हो, कितने उसमें से तुम्हारे क्वेश्चन सही हो पा रहे हैं. जस्ट असेस योरसेल्फ इन योर एबिलिटी टू सिलेक्ट द क्वेश्चंस. The point is, you must be clearing CSAT at all times, irrespective of your strengths and weaknesses. तुम्हारा मार्क्स 70 टारगेट रखो, 70 से ऊपर तुम्हारे मार्क्स आने ही चाहिए. किसी भी साल में अगर यूपीएससी के पेपर में 70 से ऊपर मार्क्स तुम्हारे नहीं आ रहे हैं, लुक फॉर द रीजंस व्हाई. क्या तुमने इजी क्वेश्चंस नहीं सिलेक्ट किए, या इजी तुम्हारा प्रिपरेशन ही इतनी कम थी कि जो इजी, अदरवाइज इजी क्वेश्चंस हम बोलेंगे वो क्वेश्चंस भी नहीं अटेम्प्ट हो पा रहे. लुक फॉर रीजंस व्हाई यू आर नॉट गेटिंग 70 मार्क्स. There is no reason why you should not be getting less than 70 marks in any year. If you are getting 70 marks in any year, that means your question selection is good. That means it doesn't matter किस टॉपिक से कितने क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं, because you are getting that consistent performance across the years कि 70 नंबर तो लेके ही आ पा रही है. तो at least we are satisfied in our ability to select the right questions, irrespective of what topics we are good at, what topics we are bad at. ठीक है ना. तो पहला चीज जो चाहिए वो ये सेल्फ बिलीफ और कॉन्फिडेंस चाहिए कि चाहे कुछ भी हो, पेपर में 70 नंबर तो मैं लेके आ रही हूँ. पिछले 13 सालों में, 2011 से 2023 तक मैं पास हो रही हूँ पेपर में. नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज टू टॉपिक वाइज फिर तुम उन क्वेश्चंस को देखो जो तुम्हारी स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं, जो उनको स्ट्रेंथ्स को प्रैक्टिस करती रहो. देखो, स्ट्रेंथ्स को अच्छा रखना इज रिलेटिवली इजियर देन वीक टॉपिक को अपना इवन मीडियम बनाना. मीडियम भी वीक टॉपिक को बनाना में बहुत मेहनत लगती है, बहुत समय लगता है. वो समय अब नहीं है. तो वीक को सिर्फ ऐसा रखो कि कुछ अगर इजी क्वेश्चन उसमें से फंस जाए, किस्मत अगर हुई इजी क्वेश्चन आ गया उस टॉपिक में से, तो वो ना छूट जाए. बट अगर अदरवाइज तुम्हारा वीक से, तो बहुत ज्यादा उम्मीद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. जो टॉपिक तुम कर सकती हो, ये समझ लो स्ट्रेंथ वाले टॉपिक में से तुमको मैक्सिमम क्वेश्चंस करने हैं. फिर तुम्हारे कुछ मीडियम लेवल के टॉपिक्स होंगे, मीडियम वालों में से भी कुछ क्वेश्चंस अगर बन जाएंगे तो 40 क्वेश्चन 45 क्वेश्चन तो यहीं पर अटेम्प्ट हो जाते हैं. बाकी जो हार्ड टॉपिक्स हैं उनमें बहुत ज्यादा अब टाइम इन्वेस्ट करने का मुझे नहीं लगता समय है.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Any other question from CSAT? No? Okay. Let's now come to last 2 months. Prabha, what should we do?
PYQs, revision, CSAT, finish CSAT. If any core, and check with sir on this advice, but if any core static subject is left, wrap it up in a week, I would say. Don't leave any core static subject. And what happens is we focus on polity, modern history, economy, and physical geography. Most of us will do it. All of our competition will focus on that. It's the other ones that can also be game changers. So your science and tech, your environment, human geography is being asked. Art and culture and ancient history is being asked. Sometimes it's a little too outlandish, exotic questions. So, but these are important subjects. So revise them and just don't leave any core static topic left. So I think check with sir if they think that 1 week you still have the leeway to finish those core static, then take that time. So yeah, so PYQs, revision, CSAT, PYQs, and your what did I just say? The other ones, so SNT, science and tech and environment stuff. The other thing is from tomorrow, I would say this is a time where you really get into gear. So if there are any distractions like social media, get off it. Instagram, Facebook, do that. Ensure that from 9:30 to 11:30 and 2:30 to 4:30, your brain is active. It will take you to sort of condition that brain to be very active during that time. Whatever, so you could start with PYQs during 9:30 to 11:30. You could do that, but just make sure it's active. Don't sleep 2:30 to 4:30. That's the other thing. Your study slots, and this is something that Dr. Shivan Chaudhary, an anonymous aspirant, also I learned from him last year. Ensure that your study slots are 2 hours. You need that mental endurance for 2 hours. So if you have a habit of studying for 1 hour and taking a break, try to push it for 2 hours. It will take time. So don't get frustrated if it takes you time and you feel like I'm not able to pull off 2 hours. That rhythm will also come. So from now, just start giving yourself, put a clock on and everything. So that's the other thing in terms of your daily schedule and what it should look like. Active recall, that's the other thing you can do. What else? So this is slightly personal, but try to maintain status quo. No fights, no drama as much as possible. Respectfully, sort of recuse yourself from situations and just maintain status quo. In relations, in where you live, all of it, as long as it is possible, just do that. So that are just some things for the 2-month strategy. Others, of course, Rakesh, so will be the best mentor in terms of the 2-month strategy. Work on that. And if any doubts with regards to 2 months, under 60 days actually now.
Any specific question, anyone? What to do in the next few weeks?
Hello, ma'am. Sir, actually, I can't able to open my camera. Myself, Vipin Kalra. Ma'am, actually, मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि इतना प्रेशर कैसे हैंडल करें?
प्रेशर किस चीज का? और एग्जाम में कि
एक्चुअली
अभी?
मैंने मेरे CSAT प्रेस कर दी है. This is my fourth attempt.
Vipin, your voice is not clear.
आवाज
समझ में नहीं आ रहा आप क्या पूछ रहे हो.
एक बार
Just a minute, sir. Right now, hello, sir. Am I audible?
हाँ, you are audible, but थोड़ा समझ में आने में शोर है. हाँ, हिंदी में बताओ.
Actually, sir. सर एक्चुअली इशू ये है मैम कि जैसे हम लोग मेरे 3 अटेम्प्ट प्रेस कर दिए अभी तक, तो इतना प्रेशर हम कैसे हैंडल करें? और जैसे कि सर ने बताया, सर टोल्ड अस कि आफ्टर 6 अटेम्प्ट सो इतनी लॉन्ग जर्नी, इतना मेंटली प्रेशर, तो कैसे इस सिचुएशन को कैसे हैंडल करें?
पेन पेपर है पास में?
यस मैम.
पहले तो ये लिख लो कि I didn't waste my 3 attempts. They made me a better person. They made me more equipped in this journey, है ना? So we'll remove that from our vocabulary because this is our inner voices, and I'll do a lot of mental resources, a lot of I want to create a safe space in my channel because मेरे लिए game ही mental था, to be honest. तो वो channel पे रहेगा, but vocabulary, your self talk can be very toxic. Throughout the day, if you really sit down and write the self-talk we do, you'll actually realize it's very negative and very toxic. तो वो थोड़ा सा things like, I wasted my attempt. I'll give you a very interesting anecdote. In my UPSC interview, the actual interview, I walk in and Honorable Chairperson sir asks me to take a seat, and he says, Prabha, take a seat, and he says, so tell me who has been misguiding you? First question. This is usually when people ask candidates to introduce themselves or tell them, okay, this is an informal conversation. The first question he gave me an opportunity to answer was, who has been misguiding you? So I just looked down, I smiled, and I said that, so I should take responsibility for my own actions and decisions here. And it would mainly be my own ambition and the goals I set for my own life that made me take a journey that seems a little winded. But sir, respectfully, I don't think it was misguided for my own self, because it made me the person I am today and made me eligible enough to sit here and learn from all of you today. So he was very encouraging, he welcomed the answer. तो वही है, ये ना सेल्फ टॉक पे काम करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज इंटरव्यू में भी काम आएगा. तो पहली तो ये चीज है. दूसरा,
एक्चुअली मैम मतलब बेस्ट सॉरी इंटरव्यू एक्चुअली बेस्ट ऑफ अटेम्प्ट मतलब मेरा मींस वो नहीं था कि मैंने मेरे 3 साल बर्बाद कर दिए. वो इस कंसर्न में था कि जैसे लैक ऑफ एफिशिएंसी या लैक ऑफ नॉलेज के कारण मेरे 3 अटेम्प्ट वेस्ट हो गए, मेरे पास ज्यादा अटेम्प्ट्स बचे नहीं है. बट वो प्रेशर जब मेरे पे बढ़ रहा है, जब आज भी 4th अटेम्प्ट लेने जा रहा हूँ 2 महीने बाद, और अच्छा खासा नॉलेज है मेरे पास, सब कुछ पढ़ रखी है, बट वो 3 अटेम्प्ट का प्रेशर अभी भी लग रहता है. जब भी मैं थिंक करता हूँ ना पढ़ता हूँ, तो ये लगता है कि 3 बार मैंने क्या मिस्टेक कमिट करी थी, उनको भी सॉल्व करना है.
अभी
नहीं, मैं समझ
एलिमिनेशन में परफॉर्मेंस कैसा आ रहा है विपिन? तुमने ज्वाइन किया हुआ है ना कोर्स?
सब बेस्ट है, 80 to 90%.
80 to 90% तुमको परफॉर्मेंस मिल रहा है, एक्यूरेसी मिल रही है. तो जो
Yes, sir,
3
yes, sir.
साल तुमने रगड़ा खाया, उससे तुम इस कोर्स से 90% एक्यूरेसी डिराइव करने के लायक बने हो. बिकॉज उससे तुम्हें ये पता चला कि सोचना कैसे नहीं होता है. Today
Okay.
that basis is helping you in getting that 90% accuracy. अब तुम एक बात बताओ, अगर तुम ये सोचोगे कि मेरी जिंदगी के 3 साल मैंने वहां गंवाए दिए, लेकिन तुम ये भी तो नजरअंदाज कर रहे हो कि उन 3 सालों की वजह से ही तो आज 90% एक्यूरेसी ड्रॉ कर रहे हो. नहीं तो
Yes, sir.
I mean that maturity, that when you look at the question and you tell it कि यार ये तो शुरुआती बच्चा नहीं कर सकता, ये तो लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड क्वेश्चन है कि नहीं है, स्टैंडर्ड नॉन स्टैंडर्ड व्हाटएवर. सो द मेन थिंग इज, जिंदगी में कभी भी हम परफेक्ट कंडीशंस में नहीं हो सकते. दोनों हाथों में लड्डू कभी नहीं हो सकते. सबका लाइफ का एक प्रोसेस होता है, सबकी लाइफ में चैलेंजेस होते हैं. मेरी लाइफ में भी हैं, तुम्हारी लाइफ में भी हैं, प्रभा की लाइफ, सबकी लाइफ में चैलेंजेस है. हाउ यू थिंक अबाउट दोज चैलेंजेस इज हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू फील अबाउट योर लाइफ. इज इट गुड, इज इट नॉट गुड? तो और रिस्क कभी भी 0 नहीं होगा. क्या पता तुम्हारा रैंक लिखा हो इस अटेम्प्ट में, है ना विपिन? आज प्रभा से बात कर रहे हैं,
Yes, sir.
अगले साल में भी प्रभा भी आएगी, तुम भी आओगे, और तुम प्रभा के आगे बोलोगे कि मेरा रैंक आ रहा है, राइट? तुम गाइड कर रहे होगे.
डेफिनेटली सर.
सो द पॉइंट इज, ये नहीं पता चलता कब जिंदगी पलट जाती है. हमारा धर्म है कर्म करने का. जस्ट कीप डूइंग व्हाट मेक सेंस टू यू. आगे बढ़ते जाओ. बहुत ज्यादा लंबा रास्ता कितना लंबा है वो नहीं देखना, बस अगले 2 कदम जो भागने हैं, बस वो 2 कदम देखो और आगे बढ़ो. दैट्स ऑल. ये जर्नी
Yes,
कब
sir.
खत्म हो जाएगी वो पता ही नहीं चलेगा. इट्स द मोस्ट अमेजिंग थिंग दैट you could have done for yourself in these years, and you have done it, है ना? तो you are in the process. जब सही समय आएगा अपने आप सब कुछ हो जाता है. बहुत ज्यादा इन सब चीजों पे सोचोगे तो इफ्स एंड बट्स दिमाग में आते हैं, जो कि एक तरीके से एलिमिनेशन थिंकिंग को भी मॉडल करेंगे. एग्जाम में फिर कुछ भी
Okay.
क्वेश्चन में जरा सा चेंज आएगा तो फिर लगेगा यार नहीं, फिर मतलब you have to ये आगे दौड़, 2 कदम आगे 4 कदम पीछे नहीं होना है. ये सब छोड़ दो, ये विचार. What you are carrying in your head is what you right now is what you will carry in your head in the exam. Practice
Yes, sir.
consciously avoiding इस टाइप का थॉट, बिकॉज दे आर सर्टेनली नॉट हेल्पिंग यू. हाँ, वी विल बी अवेयर कि कुछ गलतियां हुई हैं, वो सबसे होती हैं, लेकिन फर्क ये होता है जो सीख गया उन गलतियों से वो आगे बढ़ गया, जो नहीं सीखा वो रिपीट करेगा, जब तक नहीं सीखेगा तब तक रिपीट करता रहेगा। तो क्या
राइट
तुम
सर।
रिपीटर उस सेंस में हो या तुम उस सेंस में प्रोग्रेस किया, दैट इज व्हाट मैटर्स इन लाइफ। ठीक है।
यस सर।
तो हाँ, तो ये सोचना कि लाइफ में कुछ भी गलत हुआ या वो, ठीक है गलती तो सबसे होती है, लेकिन उससे हमने सीखा क्या, हम इम्प्रूव कैसे हुए, एंड बस आगे बढ़ना है, आगे देखना है, बहुत ज्यादा रास्ता लंबा नहीं देखना। इफ यू फील यू कैन मैसेज मी, आई कैन टॉक विद यू एंड वी कैन टुगेदर फिगर आउट इफ एनी सीरियस इश्यूज आर देयर, बट अदरवाइज जो मैं तुमसे फीडबैक लेता हूँ उस हिसाब से तो तुम काफी अच्छा कर रहे हो, बस उसी रास्ते पे चलते जाओ। लेट्स होप फॉर द बेस्ट।
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
है ना? Any other question? Any other question?
I can just quickly add an exercise, guys. You might want to write this down. Just you could start doing this. And so, what Vipin's question comes from is also these fears that we have. Sometimes what helps is to identify and name the fear. Write it down. I think that Dr. Shivan had also done a similar exercise in one of the videos. You could go see that. Write your fear down on a piece of paper. Ask yourself that if it materializes, if it actually happens, what will happen, and visualize it in the best support system possible. So in my case, for example, when I did this exercise and I wrote that, okay, if I fail my last attempt as well, I was looking forward to applying to Niti Aayog as a consultant or applying to the Capacity Building Commission as a consultant. In your case too, I understand that we're worried about ki 3 saal barbad ho gaye, 4 saal barbad ho gaye. Write it down on a piece of paper and really think of the fact, or visualize yourself in a better place, and it will give you a lot of assurance that this is just an exam, is just one of the ways of making a good career, and you will, even at the end of this exam, there is light. It doesn't mean the end of the life. वो नहीं होगा. You will do really well, and we will address that in the end. Don't worry about it. I'm there on the channel, so is there. But maybe this exercise of writing your fear down and visualizing a positive outcome, even in that, if that fear materializes, that might help. Because then you've quietened down that little ghost in your head.
नहीं
So you could
वो
try that as a
actually,
real exercise.
हाँ नहीं, एक्चुअली वो चीज काम करती है, बिकॉज when I was going through my worst years, I'm talking about 2013, 14, 15, उस time का period, I was in the worst mental health situation imaginable, and I mean there was nobody to talk with, there was nobody to seek guidance from, तो वो खुद ही पे आ गया ultimately. So I used to just write, I mean and very basic fundamental questions I would write. Okay, why am I unhappy? Okay, what is happiness? Why am I sad? Is there God? What is God? Why do I need God? Right? Am I good enough? What is being good enough? मतलब इस टाइप के बहुत फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चंस आई वुड जस्ट जो क्वेश्चन दिमाग में चलते रहते बस उसको लिखो, उनके आंसर्स रिफ्लेक्ट जब करोगे, उसको लिखोगे, इट विल बी लाइक मच बेटर understanding of your own self, much better understanding of what really is you know around. लाइफ में कोई मैटर नहीं करता यार, तुम नहीं मैटर करते, मैं नहीं मैटर करता, कुछ मैटर नहीं करता, इट्स ऑल, एंड यू नेवर नो कब कितनी लंबी जिंदगी है क्या नहीं है, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता। फर्क सिर्फ ये पड़ता है कि जितनी जिंदगी है वो अच्छे से जी है कि नहीं, एंड बाय अच्छे से जीना मतलब अपना कर्म तुमने फोकस करके अटेंटिव होके, वॉट एवर इज योर सिचुएशन इन लाइफ, मेरा तो यही मानना है, मानना क्या, मेरा मतलब एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ लाइफ हैज बीन कि वॉट एवर इज योर एक्सटर्नल सिचुएशन इन लाइफ, it is a reflection of how much attention you have paid to life, but that's all. If you have paid good attention to ET, it will be delivering that. So अगर 90% accuracy तुम्हारी आ रही है, that shows कि you have paid attention to ET. अगर नहीं attention दोगे तो फिर नहीं आएगी performance. ये बात होती है ना, तो असेस करके
Yes,
देख
sir.
लो तुम इस चीज को जिंदगी में, जहां अटेंटिव, यहाँ अगर अभी तो बात बोली जा रही है उसमें अटेंशन पे करोगे तो ये बात विल मेक सेंस, नहीं अटेंशन पे करोगे तो इट विल नॉट मेक सेंस। तो बेसिकली हाउ लाइफ इज, हाउ वी परसीव लाइफ, इट इज a function of how much attention we have paid. So ultimately it boils down to consciously paying attention to everything that you are doing. Right now you are listening, you are asking question, pay attention to, when you are asking question you will be able to ask the right question. जवाब सुनोगे you will be able to understand the answer well. जब PT में जाओगे तो pay attention to the question, your heart will be able to communicate with the question better. It's all about paying attention. And ये जो
नहीं
tension
एक्चुअली
वाले
सर,
thoughts
आई नेवर think about like that. Yesterday, one random guy comes to me and told her story. Him story कि मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ, मैं 3 साल से तैयारी कर रहा था, just like that. तो मैं उससे कुछ relate कर रहा था अपने आप को. That's why I'm asking this question.
See, देखो सबका अपना अपना एक जर्नी होती है लाइफ में, एंड कोई किस सिचुएशन में कब है वो सबका अपना अपना होता है, बट द पॉइंट इज यू नीड टू रियलाइज तुम्हारे सिचुएशन में तुम्हारे लिए क्या चीज फायदेमंद है, क्या चीज फायदेमंद नहीं है, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली द एग्जाम डेट इज नॉट गोइंग टू शिफ्ट. तो
Yes, sir.
you as an officer also tomorrow will need to decide कि भाई कोई चीज तुम्हारे फायदे की है या परफॉर्मेंस जब तुमको देना है, डिसीजन तुमको लेना है, तो वो तुमको करना ही पड़ेगा ना. तो some things have to be consciously avoided and some things have to be consciously paid attention to. So it's all just that practice that you have to do it and ultimately यार हो जाता है. बेस्ट चीज तो कुछ भी नहीं होती. इट्स ऑल मतलब यही मेरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है कि जितना ज्यादा सोचोगे नेगेटिव, दिमाग में नेगेटिव एनर्जी इकट्ठी होती रहेगी. प्रोडक्टिव काम में अगर करोगे तो तुम्हारा पॉजिटिव होगा. इट्स ऑल दैट्स व्हाई सुबह उठ के अगर अपना बिस्तर ठीक करते हो तो एक काम अचीव कर लिया, दैट फील्स मेक्स यू फील गुड. अखबार में 1 घंटे में अखबार का निकाल के वो स्निपर्स निकाल के वो दे देता हूँ, इट फील्स गुड कि हाँ यार मैंने कुछ काम किया. नहीं तो वो समय निकल जाएगा हाथ से और वो वर्स ही फील करते जाओगे. Try to achieve something, छोटा छोटा भी अचीव करोगे, because you will have to pay attention to achieve something. तो वो फिर ultimately आदत बन जाती है. It's just as simple as that, or as complicated as your mind is making it. इसके ऊपर कर सकते हैं बात dedicated after the session if you are interested, or any other day. But right now,
Yeah, sure, sir.
we should move ahead. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vipin. So I think
Thank you,
that
ma'am.
is about the mental health part also. Prabha, is there anything specific you want to talk about in mental health aspect?
No, I think I gave a very tangible exercise of the fear
Yes,
identification. You could do that. The
Exactly.
second thing you could do that helped me is at the end of the night, and this is to reduce negative self-talk that you've subjected yourself to, just on a piece of paper, write things that you're proud of. Or just happy things, happy moments, write things that you're proud of yourself. Usko likh lo, it helps you calm that negative self-talk. That's the other one. We'll talk more, I think, as and when I remember stuff, I'll keep putting it on the channel. But I'm there. I want to make a better space for mental health discussions, so we can do that.
Absolutely. नहीं बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बहुत जरूरी है और सही चीज बताई है. So I think that pretty much winds up this talk. Is there any other doubt before we close for tonight? Any other doubt, anyone? Samakshi.
So not a doubt. Just want to congratulate and thank Prabha. Very, very happy to see you there. I think you told me after mains that this is your last attempt, and I was like, oh man, I want her to get this. I so wanted you to get this. मेरा तो हो गया था. My mains was not that great, but I was like, man, I want Prabha to get this. And it was genuinely amazing. Whether or not you would have cleared or not, I would have always said it was very great to have you, particularly Shivangi, in the ET oral test, in the classes. I mean, बहुत isolation हो जाता है यूपीएससी में, and then we're all preparing at home, not in Delhi, not in a full-fledged coaching. So just having a community, I think I really used to look forward to the classes. कि ठीक है, एक तो syllabus भी हो जाएगा and you feel like there are people struggling just
Absolutely.
like us. And thank you so much, Prabha, for in this particular session for really focusing on FOMO, because this is the time it catches up with all of us, no matter how many attempts we have given, and many congratulations. And we are all looking forward to the work you're going to do. And yeah, waiting for some royal entry videos also with some nice background maybe.
Entry video बिल्कुल
Congratulations.
Yes.
हम ही लोग कर रहे होंगे वायरल किधर
अरे
बिल्कुल,
फेक
बिल्कुल।
आईडी बना के when we'll comment, oh, we know हमने इसके साथ पढ़ा है.
I have to say one thing. Samakshi was the reason I would study harder, because she would be able to answer questions, and when I wouldn't be able to, I was like, "Arey, she's going to study and come. I will also study." So I used to say this to sir, that Samakshi was the reason that the class would feel like a very lively
Engaging and
environment.
yes,
So thank you for that, Samakshi.
Many
I've
thanks,
been
Prabha.
blessed with the community who has been rooting for me. I was so surprised at all of the messages I was getting. Friends were saying it's a personal victory for them. I'm so grateful and so blessed for that love. And really, I want to be able to contribute back into that positive community. So thank you for that.
Yes, Prabha,
Right.
yes.
Devanshi.
Hello, sir.
Yes, hi.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you.
Heartiest congratulations. Your journey is really, really inspiring. Ma'am, my question is, how many questions did you actually attempt in 2023 paper, both for GS and CSAT? And what was your initial reaction after looking at the changed format of paper? क्योंकि shock factor was next level और मुझे तो GS का shock CSAT तक लगा था. So how did you tackle that?
Wow, I really, Devanshi, such an important question, and thanks for acknowledging that bit of the carry on that we do of the emotion from GS1 to CSAT. First question was, how did I absorb the
How
shock? That
many
was the
questions? How many
Questions.
questions you attempted?
Yes, ma'am.
I think I did. So my sweet spot, I was in my sweet spot. I remember that. So that was comforting to me. I think I would have done, but yes, while the range was 75 to 85, it was on the lower side. Why? Because again, this comes back to self-confidence. Because it was a new format, I was looking at questions and really revisiting and seeing the answers again. Ki sahi hai, is there anything else? So that was taking a lot of time. So I think I ended up solving 77, 78 questions. So that's not very high, but again, it's in the range of sweet spot. So that's another lesson that from PYQs, if you identify your range, you will have comfort during the exam that you're in that range and you won't panic that you've not done enough questions. So try to achieve that through your PYQ practice. That was one in terms of how many I attempted. Second question was the initial shock.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Shivan usually does a session one day before the exam, and he had said ki when you open the question paper, smile. And I remember he came back on the day of we returned from the exam. He said that when I opened the question paper, I was not able to smile. He accepted that he himself was not able to smile. So that's the thing. This year too, I think same advice. Try to smile so that you fake your own heart and mind to believe that, okay, it is worth smiling. But the other thing is, whatever happens, there will be a shock. Be prepared for the shock. Just know that this is relative, right? So everyone will face that shock. And UPSC is there to select the ones who can just brace the initial surge of shock and just identify the easy questions. So just remind yourself that another thing, remind yourself that you'll be able to apply your skills and your training better if you are calmer. Because बहुत processing करना पड़ेगा, बहुत logic लगाना पड़ेगा, and you really have to calm your nerves down. I know it's easier said than done, but it's all about what you talk to yourself during the exam. A lot of us will have a lot of, your brain keeps running, and while you're solving the question also, you talk to yourself. I'm not getting this question. Oh no, I'm running out of time, all of that. So just have positive talk even at that time. That was that. Oh, between the two, I think Sir and I spoke between GS1 and CSAT. And I refused to analyze my GS1. And Sir was urging me not to analyze GS1. Just completely shut off. Do not think about GS1 because it is of no use. That paper has gone, your OMR is gone. We now have to focus on CSAT. So Sir constantly told me we will not discuss GS1 and you will not analyze it. Whether you're feeling happy about it, whether you're feeling sad, if you're feeling happy, great. Tell yourself that is good. But do not even open up a question. If you have people around you, do not let them, invade into your safe space by mark for a certain question. Don't do it. Create that fortress. You get 2 hours, I think we get between the two. Eat a good meal, a light meal that will help you really fuel yourself, and just let go of GS1. It's gone. And you've done what you could do best, and it will give you colors. Your focus should be on CSAT. That's the main thing.
Yes,
exactly.
ma'am. And for CSAT, how many questions did you attempt? क्योंकि आपको भी maths के question difficult लगे थे ना?
मुझे exactly याद नहीं है देवांशी, but I think 48 का ही था, not more than 46, 48 ही था.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Accuracy, main thing, Devanshi, don't focus on these numbers. Make sure you're getting a higher accuracy in CSAT.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
That's the thing.
Ultimately बात वही आ रही है दिवांशी, easy questions identify कर रहे हो कि नहीं कर रहे, बस that's all. Easy questions के ऊपर, और easy questions जरूर होंगे, ये तुमको मालूम है ना? तो बस easy ढूंढो, and layers में चलना है, rounds में चलना है. First round always easy, the next round slightly more difficult, and the last will be अगर जरूरत पड़े तो घुसो, नहीं तो generally उससे पहले में chance हो जाता है.
Also with regards to layers and rounds, maintain discipline. Samakshi was discussing this earlier as well. No matter how hard the shock is, maintain your discipline of what category of questions you're going to do in round 1, round 2, round 3. Don't, just because it's a harder paper, don't shift your round 1 questions to round 2 or take more risk and bring round 2, round 1. Just maintain that practice. Don't change any strategy that you've practiced on, basically, is the lesson. वो कर लें.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Arpita.
Ma'am, first of all, congratulations to you. Hello, am I
Yes, I
audible?
can hear
Yes,
you.
you are
Yeah,
audible.
yeah. Ma'am, I wanted to ask two things. First is, can you please elaborate how did you manage your NGO and preparation simultaneously? Like, do you have any suggestions for the working professionals? And the second is, how did you set your daily targets? Like, was it hour wise कि इतने घंटे मुझे पढ़ना है, or it was like I have to complete these things? So these two things I wanted to clear.
Let me just open up my, one second. I'll show you one of these. This is what it looked like. And I remember Sir, because I was under his program, this one. So Sir used to ask me for these targets. So this used to be planned one day before. The slots would be there in place. And one day before, this is January 2023. So one day before I would have this set. It's not wise to really start the day without a plan.
Yes.
And right now we'll of course ensure that 9:30 to 11:30 we're studying. So have a plan one day before. And the other thing was hold yourself accountable. So these colors are basically green is achieved, red is not. That was my daily plan. This was mainly on how I used to track it. At this point, I would suggest that we're at a stage where we need to do 2-hour slots and at least try to do 4 to 5 of them. Start with 4 if you're not already doing it, and then push it to 5. You'll have to reach the, I don't really believe in putting numbers on these things, but then closer to the exam, we'll have to really clock out 8, 10 hours for sure. So
अभी
that is one thing.
Arpita, are you on leave now or अभी
Yeah, that's what I wanted to
नौकरी
ask.
कर रही हो?
Sir, right now I'm on leave, but
हाँ.
I'm asking for in general, like for the next attempt.
लीव अभी प्रीलिम्स तक होगी तुम्हारी?
Yes, sir. Sir, 26 तक है, so I'm trying to extend it.
Okay. So Arpita, in my case, what happened is I started this in 2018 and it was my startup. So what happens is when you're a entrepreneur, you're a social entrepreneur yourself, you don't have working hours. You work 24/7. You don't have Saturday, Sundays because it's your own ship in a way. And it was a very infant startup of sorts. So उसमें ये दिक्कत आ रही थी, and that is why I failed 2018 and 2019. Of course, I'm really glad on the opportunities I got through my NGO. I'm not discrediting that. But I realized that by 2022, 23, I had to, because it was my last attempt. So I took a step back from that. I'll be very honest. So it's me being transparent and not, I really don't want my journey to become of sorts where it looks like I achieved something while working. 22, 23, I was given the space by my team. In fact, Eshita was here. She's not here anymore. My team and my co-founder, they took on the ship, and I was not, I mean, I would do some strategic work, maybe 4-5 hours a week. But other than that, full focus on the exam. So that's something I should clarify. In your case, it's good that you've taken leave until prelims. But yeah, for working professionals, we can really figure out, because then in that case, we'll have to craft a daily plan for you. Is there any other working professional here?
Yeah, Prabha, I am here.
What
I
you
do not
do?
have, yeah, I started working this year after mains. I don't have leave, and I will be very intensely involved in some work for at least 15 to 20 days before, not exactly before prelims, but in these weeks to come.
So how are you managing? Work hours are 9 to 6 roughly?
So my work hours are not exactly 9 to 6. Now you can say 9:30 to 5. And sometimes if there's some work before 9:30, then there is no work later. So I have kind of well-defined targets, so I can plan.
Good.
But it's those intensive days that
It
it's
is.
very difficult to work during
It is.
those 15 days.
And Abhishek, same work hours for you?
I work in shifts, so it keeps changing.
Got it. And Saturday, Sundays are free, Samakshi and Abhishek?
Yeah, for me they are, but not when I will be on field for 10-15 days. Not then.
Let's talk. Samakshi, you and I can talk. And Abhishek, do you
Sure.
have any specific questions on this? Kaise karna hai? Are you able to manage? You want me to
Actually, means it has been similar cases. I mean, during the exam time, it always the load increases. Like Samakshi is saying that 14, 15 days she will have load. So in similar, I have also got election duties. So now
I
I will
mean, that's
be
the
engaged for at
thing.
least a week.
Yeah, I want to be very responsible when I speak here because I was very lucky to have the support system when I was doing my work in 2020 in my last two attempts. So I don't want to seem like I'm on a pedestal and I say that oh sab kuch ho jata hai. I will have to think on this. I would really have to reflect on how I can best help you. Right now, it's not really coming to me. But not to say that there's no hope. You guys are on track and aap log karoge. Nobody will snatch that away from you. This is something you've decided and you will do it. I'm sure of that. We will figure it out. Let me articulate a better. Let me try to really reflect on this. है ना? The reason I'm not answering is not because it's not possible, but more because I have a gap.
Yeah,
No,
Prabha. I was
we
thinking of
can-
messaging you later,
Okay, we'll
but
discuss.
yeah, this
Actually,
is something
we can have another session also if
wanted
you
your
people
tips
are
on.
interested in that. If
Yes.
But
Prabha
hats
is-
off, yeah. Both of you, even Arpita.
It's
All my
very
regards
difficult.
for what you're
It's very
managing.
difficult. Even
Thanks, Prabha.
Tamil is busy with some course and he usually
wow.
sleeps by 9 o'clock. अभी 11 बज रहे हैं, but he still मतलब उसका सुबह 3 बजे शुरू हो जाता है दिन.
Oh gosh. Okay. Wow. Hats off, guys. It's
all everyone is
very brave.
struggling in their own ways. So right, guys, that's all the time that we have for tonight. And thank you, Prabha, for taking out your time, and everyone, guys, for joining this session. If there is anything else you want questions, you want answers for, any questions, if you have, please share them. Prabha has also shared her Telegram channels link, which I have given in all the channels, the open channels, actually the free elimination one and the other one. You can join her channel. Very good information she shares in those channels. And of course, personally, you are always, she's available. So whenever you can just message, and whenever she has the time, she will respond. And I think that is all for tonight. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Prabha. And we'll meet next time.
Thank you. Let's do it. We'll
Thank
crack
you,
it.
sir. Congrats, Prabha.
Good luck.
Thank
Good luck,
you.
guys.
Prabha.
Good luck. Good
Thank you,
night.
sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Thank you.
guys.
Best of luck.